very good evening and a warm welcome to Skate Central here in Sheffield. Another cracking night ahead of us on Fight Zone. Spencer Binks and Jake Price kick us off, and as you can see there, plenty to look forward to this evening. Plenty of upcoming prospects and stars that we've seen here at Skate Central before, and now they get the opportunity to shine once again on Fight Zone TV. Real opportunity for these boxers to stake their claim for bigger things to come. And without further ado, let's get cracking. There's Max Jenkins. I'm Stacey Copeland. We'll be taking you through proceedings this evening, and our MC Robert Blundell is ready to get us underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big warm welcome here from Skate Central in Sheffield. We're live on Fight Zone. Fight Academy proudly presents an evening of professional boxing. We are now ready to welcome our first boxers to the ring. Please welcome first, and making their way to the blue corner, from Hereford, Jake Price.
Jake Price then from Herefordshire. His last 3 outings, 2 points lost his last month. Got a points win over Jimmy Gilheany in Cardiff though. Got 2 wins over him now. And he had another win. He's 2-7-1. Been stopped twice. What can he do this evening? He's up against Spencer Binks.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, making his way to the red corner, from Bestwood Village, Spencer Binks.
Popular character Spencer Binks, the 22-year-old from Nottinghamshire. 4-1-1, so 6 outings, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Got a points win in March against Stafford Vincent, 6-rounder in Nottingham. 1 loss back in November last year against Carl Sampson, 6-rounder as well. Did the Robin Hood half marathon 6 days ago in a really good time as well. So all-round athlete, first time fighting outside of Nottinghamshire though. We've got a really good reception here. Let's see what he can put on for this Sheffield crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Fight Zone, where Fight Academy proudly presents 4 rounds of action in the lightweight division. Our timekeeper at the bell for this contest is Anthony Rushton, and when the action begins, our referee in charge, scoring the contest, star referee Howard Foster. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our officials. It is now time to welcome our boxers. Introducing first and boxing out of the blue corner, wearing black shorts with white trim. On the scales, he weighed in 9 stone, 13 pounds and 2 ounces. This evening taking part in his 11th contest as a professional, from Hereford, Jake Price. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, facing him across the ring and boxing out of the red corner, wearing the blue shorts with silver trim. On the scales, he weighed in 9 stone, 10 pounds and 9 ounces. He has a record of 4 wins, 1 defeat and 1 draw. Introducing from Bestwood Village, Spencer Binks.
Keep it clean, Rich, straight away when told. Both got the heads in close, good luck to you both, touch gloves. Good luck.
So there's the tail of the tape on your screen. Spencer Binks, 22-year-old, Jake Price, 25. This in the super lightweight category. Scheduled for 4 3-minute rounds. Binks of Nottinghamshire in the blue shorts with the silver trim. Price of Herefordshire in the black shorts with the white waistband. And alongside me this evening on commentary duty, Max Jenkins. He knows all of these boxers really well. He's been out doing the rounds, getting the interviews in the last few weeks, so we'll look forward to getting his insight, as this is a steady start from Binks, just working behind that jab. Nice and sharp, and a bit of thudding power behind that jab as well. He's a difficult man to keep off, is Spencer Binks, isn't he, Max? And there, gets through with that backhand, just catching on the side of the head of Price.
I like Spencer. I've always been a bit of a fan of him because he just works, just does the fundamentals right. I see the pivot and the duck off, you know, does it really well, the fundamentals.
Yeah, neat and tidy technically, lovely jab. You can see he really gets some decent purchase on that jab as well, and the face of Price already a little marked up in this opening minute. That was lovely work there from Binks. Dropped that left to the body, came up to the top with the backhand and caught Price, and continuing to pursue his man, and he's taking his time with his work though, Max. He's not rushing, not getting greedy, he's steady, intelligent pressure.
He's being economical with his punches. He's not just throwing to the sake of it, you know, and he's making sure he's looking at these little points to get through, like we've just seen the uppercut, just went through.
Lovely long backhand from him again, finds a home on the face of Price, which is reddened already. Price doing his best to put his combinations together as well though, just working off the ropes in that neutral corner into the red corner now, and taking his time with his work is Binks. Price just trying to work at close range. Lovely work, that backhand of Binks.
What I like about Binks, he tucks up when he needs to tuck up. He's just, you know, when he defends, you know, he doesn't leave himself open.
Oh, there's another good backhand, and he's landed that a couple of times, that combination, Max, where he's dropped to the body with that lead hand and come over the top with the backhand, and gonna have to be wise to that, Price. That was a decent, steady, technical first round from Binks, and Price had to work there. What he did, though, he did well, in fairness to the man from Herefordshire. But Binks, always in control, dominant in every aspect, and good to watch as well.
As you see, Stace, you know, he's just economical with his work. He doesn't go too busy. When he needs to tuck up, he tucks up and he finds the openings.
The shot selection's really good, isn't it, Max? That he's not just throwing and, you know, in bunches and hoping for something. He's precise. He's finding the gaps, and he's accurate as well. So it's been good work from Binks. But the man on your screen there, Jake Price, has had his work cut out, but he's done well. Taken a few big shots there, but he took them well, and he tried to put some of his own combinations together as well, so certainly made it competitive so far. Second round gets underway. Price just chipping away, trying to find the little gaps. Great deal of power in the shots from Price, but not necessarily important for him to do that, Max. He just needs to stay busy and
I think
try and keep Binks off him, doesn't he? But he doesn't want to leave any gaps whilst he's throwing.
Quite interesting is, I think he's seeing if there's more opening from Price. He's trying to see if he can do a counter job. And he'd like to have a look, Spencer, see what if he can utilise, you know, on the attack on a counter. So like he's tucking up now and waiting, and he's going again.
Trying to find a home for that lead left hook to the body behind the right elbow of Price. Came back up with that lead hand hook there, and Price managed to ride it. Dangerous looking shot that was from Binks. Price again just working away. He gets the chance.
What I do like about Binks is his ring craft. He's just trying to, keep centre of ring and trying to put him into the corners. I do like that from Binks.
Price just making sure that he stays busy, and of course he's trying to prevent Binks from getting into that rhythm that he enjoyed in the first round, where he was able just to step forward and apply the pressure. And so far Price hasn't taken as many of those solid backhands that he took in the first round, and perhaps he's decided that attack is a decent form of defence for him, just to stay busy and try and put Binks off his rhythm as he pushes him back against the ropes and steps straight to him again, and backhand screw shot just making its way through the guard of Price. Price just letting his hands go. He put a little bit more into those.
Quite interesting by Price. He's making Binks trying to hunt for him now. He's on his bike a little bit more.
He's also not allowing him just to set his shots up and tee off like he did in the first round, because of course he won't be taking too many of those backhands that we saw rock his head back in the first round. Smart work from him as we reach the final, coming up on the final 20 seconds of this second round, and it's been good work from Price because he's given Binks something to think about, and like I say, taken the momentum away from him a little bit, made him have to work, and a reddening around the left side of Binks that you can see there. Obviously some of the work from Price paying dividends. He just skips his way around the ring to the bell, and that was good work from Price there, Max, because he shipped a few big backhands, didn't he, in that first round, and he was allowing Binks to come forward, set his shots up and let his hands go, and obviously in his best interest not to do that for all 4 rounds, and he made sure that he stayed busy and didn't allow Binks to set his feet in the same way.
Yeah, as we're just seeing on the replays, it's just some tidy work from Price. He is firing back. We've got to watch what he's doing in there, Binks. He can't just get good first round. The second round a little bit more questionable, but he just needs to tidy up in his work. And I think Price started to get on his bike because he didn't want to trade as as much as he did in the first one. And with that backhand, like you keep saying, Stacey.
This one's scheduled for 4 threes. Ultimate round 3 now. Let's see what Binks can do differently, because of course this is what it's about. This is just his 7th contest, remember. First time boxing out of Nottinghamshire, so lots of firsts for him to deal with. Different when you box in on home turf, you have that home support, you've got your familiar routines. Obviously not too far away from Nottingham here, but it's still a change, Max, isn't it? Boxing out of your home borough or your home city.
I think so.
A little bit of a change in routine that you're used to, isn't it? What's familiar.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's important you get out your comfort zone, so always the crowd's not always on your side. There's less of you and you're a bit by yourself, so you're asking questions yourself when you're not always at home, if that makes sense.
And this is all part of the development, of course, as is making short incremental improvements in between rounds. And let's see if Binks can execute what his corner have been asking him to do. They were asking him to move his head more. That's what they were calling for after that round, more head movement as he approaches.
I noticed Price is just a lot more on his bike. He's staying away. He's just staying on the outskirts. He's 1-2 go away. He just doesn't want to stay so static as he was before.
As I say, there's not a great deal of power in these shots from Price, so you feel that for Binks, if he can just evade some of these shots, either slip them and counter or just catch and counter, then he'll have great success. And he is capable of doing that. He's technically good enough to counter, and we know that his accuracy is really good as well, so can he find a counter off some of this work from Price?
What I like about Spencer, like I've said in the last round, he is just using his ring craft quite well. Obviously just getting and cutting off the ring, because Price is just on his bike.
I've not seen him be quite as effective with that backhand in the second round. He was really effective with it in the first. into the final minute now. Can he find a home again for that backhand, which caused Price problems in the opening round from that heavily tattooed, lots of interesting artwork, you have to say, on that backhand of Binks. So just tries to find the angle. That was nice work, just a bit of head movement on the way in. A little bit laboured those shots now, but he was trying to put the combination together, was Binks. He steps forward again, there's that lead hook to the body. Nice backhand, checks the chin of Price, and I think caused him too many problems, but a nice little shot from Binks. Just tries to find a gap for the uppercut there, and Price just trying to be savvy defensively towards the end of that round. And Price has made smart adjustments, Max, from that first round, because he was taking a few big hits, wasn't he? As we've just seen there in that opening sequence, those little flurries, little raids he does, not a great deal of power in them. He's just tapping away and not allowing Binks to set his feet. And I just feel if Binks could either slip and counter or catch and counter, he could have Price in trouble, because he certainly possesses more power, Binks, doesn't he, than his opponent.
Yeah, I think Binks, I'd like to see him go down to a little bit more to the body than he was. You know, it's okay, you know, the odd one here and there, but I want to see him get busy to the body, you know, reverse it, be more busy to the body, then go up top. Sort of like a bit of a decent combination in the first round.
Fourth and final round then. So can Binks go through the gears, step things up and put Price under pressure here? What does he have in the tank? Does he want to put on a show here? First time fighting outside of Nottingham. What can he offer this Sheffield crowd? Good little shot from Price though. Oh, and another good backhand from Price as well. Binks took it well, but seems to have the bit between his teeth now, Price. He's got a bit of momentum, remember. Got a points win over Jimmy Gilheany in Cardiff last month. Might feel that he could possibly add another win to his resume here in Sheffield. Price again working away. Can Binks counter though? Doesn't want to allow Price just to tee off and pick his shots and load up on him. Needs to be firing back. Finds a way through with that backhand uppercut. Good exchange from both boxers there, both landing. Binks tucking up, and there goes that overhand right. It's been a good shot for Binks at times throughout this contest. Working away again, Price. Just takes a couple on the way in, Binks, but tucks up well here. Price just on the move now. Binks just trying to cut the ring off. Price turns him though, and now pushes Binks back and then finds himself up against the ropes. Minute remaining in the fourth round. Can Binks muster a big final minute here? Oh, it's a good shot there from Price. Walked right onto it, did Binks. Knocked his head back, but it caused him too many problems after that. He will certainly have felt that one.
I think just Binks is just sort of trying to coast now. But that's not enough sometimes. You just need to still stay busy and a bit alert, you know, etc.
Just needs that bit of head movement on the way in at times as well. Just take his head off the central axis so that Price can't pick him off. Both raising their hands, a few antics here in the final seconds, but that'll see us to the final bell. And a really entertaining opening contest that, and you know, huge credit to both boxers, because Price more than played his part, and a decent performance from Binks. First time boxing outside of Nottingham, and appreciated by the Sheffield crowd and obviously the travelling fans he's brought with him, Max.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good, performance by Binks. And, he just a little bit of tidying up here and there, and he got through Price at times. But, it's fundamentally decent throughout. But you look at that and be happy with that, I thought.
Well, let's get the official announcement for our MC, Robert Blundell.
Ladies and gentlemen, could we please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers? After 4 rounds of action, we go to Howard Foster's scorecard, which reads 39 points to 37 in favour of your winner, Spencer Binks.
So Price looking a little disappointed there, as I say, he did get a win
for
Jimmy Gilheany in Cardiff last month. He will have been hoping to add one there. He certainly put a good shift in, but Binks technically
and gentlemen, we are now ready to welcome our next boxers to the ring. Please welcome first, and making their way to the blue corner, from Newark, Connor Meanwell.
30 years old, Connor the Pitbull Meanwell from Nottinghamshire. Lost on points to Kyle Smith, who was making his debut in Belfast last time. He had a win in March 2023, that was his last win. He got a draw this February. He's had 13 contests this year though, so very active. We've seen him in action before on Fight Zone TV several times. Connor Meanwell always puts a really good shift in. And he's up against Mason Dickinson.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, making his way to the red corner from Sheffield, Mason Dynamite Dickinson.
There's Mason Dickinson on your screen. We're just waiting for his ring walk music for the man from Sheffield. Always wears a mask to the ring. Says it helps him stand out, and it certainly does indeed. There's a different mask every time, and difficult not to notice. They always catch the eye, that's for sure. And finally, Mason Dynamite Dickinson, the 24-year-old from Sheffield, complete with the mask that I mentioned. This time seems to have gone for a gold mask with a bit of some red features on it. Makes his way to the ring. Had a long wait for that ring walk music, but finally he can make his way here. He has had a loss that came last October over in the US in the UK versus USA showdown. It was a tough one to take, a 4th-round stoppage by knockout against Carlos Rodriguez, but he had his comeback win in March. Pleasure to be here to commentate on that one, because it was a lot of pressure for the youngster, and he came through it here at Skate Central with a points win over Nathan Darby, and he'll be looking to add another win this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on Fight Zone from Skate Central in Sheffield, Fight Academy proudly presents 4 rounds of action in the Super Welterweight division. Our timekeeper at the bell for this contest is Peter Humphrey, and our referee in charge scoring the contest, star referee Howard Foster. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our officials. It is now time to introduce our boxers. Introducing first and boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the black shorts. On the scales, he weighed in 11 stone, 5 pounds and 5 ounces. Taking part in his 34th contest as a professional, from Newark, Connor Meanwell. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent facing him across the ring and boxing out of the red corner. In a brown shorts with silver. On the scales, he weighed in 11 stone, 6 pounds and 10 ounces. He comes to the ring with a record of 6 wins and only 1 defeat. He has 1 big win by way of knockout. From right here in Sheffield, Mason Dynamite Dickinson.
So bout number 2 of this evening sees Dynamite taking on Pitbull. It is, of course, Connor the Pitbull Meanwell in the blue corner. He's in the black shorts. And Mason Dynamite Dickinson in the brown and silver shorts. Made his ring walk with 7-1 on the back of his shirt, and that is what he will hoping for tonight. That reflects his record. It's 6-1 at the moment. He wants to go to 7-1, so clear intentions for him. Had that loss, as I mentioned, in October over in the US. It's a knockout stoppage. It can always be really difficult to come back from, but he managed to overcome that hurdle in March. here at Skate Central with a points win. Said he was inspired by Anthony Joshua's redemption story from his first loss, so taken some inspiration from that and did exactly the same himself. And came back, bounced back with a win, and he'll be looking to add another win to that now. It's all about building confidence back, isn't it, Max, after that loss? And he did that in March, and now he'll look to build again.
Yeah, definitely. Mason is, that was a horrendous knockout he got. And it was on a decent, it was on a good show, and he was, he's a away fighter, and he took a risk, and he's got, balls of steel, and he got the win back, and I just want to see a good, steady, all-round performance tonight.
Sharp double jab from Dickinson, just penetrating the guard of Meanwell. He's very active, Meanwell. He's been on Fight Zone TV numerous times. We've commentated on him in Nottingham on a couple of occasions, where he's from. Always willing to trade if he needs to.
Yeah, I like that variation, downstairs and upstairs again.
Had 28 amateur bouts, did Dickinson. He says he is quite an introvert by nature, but boxing brings out his confidence and his alter ego, if you like, and you see that with that mask, and he's all business-like, serious when he makes his way to the ring. Some boxers, of course, smile and lap it up, and others like to have that game face on, if you like. Boxing out of the Titans boxing gym in Sheffield. Got a few from there on tonight's card. Got a great stable. Great atmosphere in the gym, Max, when there's a few of you from the same gym, whether it's amateur or pro, and you're all getting ready for the same fight dates on the same show. It's really pushes everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think going on to that, you've got Mikey and Trevor on here, and they all push each other, so it's good to see, and it's good camaraderie in that gym, actually. There's a good crop in there.
A couple of nice little combinations from Dickinson in those last sequences, and Meanwell firing back. Tucks up well, just working again off that jab, just keeping things at range is Dickinson. Just a fairly cautious first round, but when these two have thrown, they've thrown with some real intent at times, Max, so...
Yeah, I just don't like the edge then, that last 10 seconds. Mason was on that ropes there. He needed to move off of there. It's just a danger area for me there.
Conor Meanwell is one of those, as I've said, we've seen him numerous times on Fight Zone TV before. He is happy to scrap if he needs to, and if you offer it to him, he will fire back. So perhaps in Dickinson's interest just to have a controlled performance here, where he can dominate at range, step in, put some combinations together when he wants to, but perhaps not risk anything with Meanwell, because he will trade.
Yeah, and not only that, is just going on to say that the problem is with Mason, sometimes I see it, he sometimes goes on autopilot, but when he's on it, I tell you what, he throws some lovely combinations, variations. We saw that in that round, upstairs, downstairs, to the body, throws it out. I see that a lot more.
Firing out that jab to kick us off in this second round, Dickinson, and then again just working behind that jab. Meanwhile, just happy to take those on the gloves for now. Nice couple of counters from Dickinson there. It's good work from Dickinson. He's staying switched on, and part of the key here is that discipline. Chips a little chopping backhand from Meanwell there, and that's where he doesn't want to be. It's better when he just steps away when he's landed and just continues to keep control of that range and that distance. Just enables him to work behind that jab and doesn't want to let Meanwell up too close. Working again behind that jab, Dickinson, and doubled it up and followed up with the backhand a couple of moments ago, and it just found its way through the guard of Meanwell. Could perhaps just vary his shots a little bit, Dickinson, at times. Just vary those straight shots and maybe drop some downstairs or bring in a hook, but most important thing is to keep that discipline and maintain control, and if straight shots is the most comfortable way for him to do that, then so be it. He'll just want to get the win under his belt. Meanwhile, finding his way through with a few shots and then just steps off.
I just want to see Mason a little bit busy with that jab, a little bit more.
Tapping away with that jab is Dickinson. If he can control the distance and the range, might not be the most exciting encounter, but the important thing is not to leave himself too vulnerable. And we just saw that there, his lead hand low, and Meanwell finding his way over the top. And you do feel that if Meanwell really wanted to have a go here and you know, sort of plant his feet and swing, he could find himself in a spot of bother Dickinson, because when he has turned it up a little bit in the closing stages, Meanwell, he's found his way through, and he is vulnerable at times, Dickinson. Got to be switched on, and I think that's perhaps why, although we'd like maybe to see a bit more variety, it is only his second fight since that stoppage, and important just to be controlled and perhaps a cautious approach en route to getting this win, I guess is the best way to say it.
I'm just looking at the corner now, Stacey, and I think John is giving him a bit of a rollicking slightly, Mason, just be a bit more busier and just not switch up. I just felt for the best part of 45 seconds, he just switched off and just waited, you know, Meanwell to do something. And, you know, you can't do that, unfortunately. Because, you know, your opponent here will maybe turn you over if you're not careful if you're doing stuff like that. Nice jab by Mason.
Yeah, we've seen it plenty of times where the away fighter just fancies it and they really turn it up. Often not in their interest to do that, because somebody as active as Meanwell, as I say, he's had 13 bouts this year already. He's still got the best part of 3 months until the end of the year, so he won't want to risk anything, any hand injuries, any cuts. It prevents him being able to earn his living, of course, so it doesn't mean that now and then they just might want to fire a couple of shots out. Always got to stay switched on. Dickinson again, just flicking out that jab. Goes down to the body. A little look from Meanwell to say it's a little bit low.
You just hear John Fuchs there.
Just working again off that jab, and it is key for him to keep control of that range and distance for Dickinson and not take any unnecessary risks.
Just heard John Fuchs' corner, Mason's corner, just stick to your boxing and just be disciplined.
Well, that's what we've been saying, isn't it, since the first round? Discipline and control are key for Dickinson here.
Yeah.
Meanwell, giving a word again about these low shots.
Yeah, he just said that even his opponent, Meanwell, just acknowledged that, so that was low. I feel Mason, when Meanwell starts throwing leather at him, it brings the best out of Mason a little bit. He knows he has to fight. Does that make sense? It's some boxers like that. He feels a bit low on these shots. That's why the referee hasn't pulled him up on it.
30-second remaining, and this has caught fire a little bit here. We've seen it in the last 10 seconds in the first 2 rounds. It's perhaps started to trade a little bit sooner in this one, although it's settled again now. We have seen that in the final 10, haven't we, where they've both opened up a little bit, Max, and did it with 30 seconds to go there, but it's kind of like one of those fireworks that very quickly fizzles out. Perhaps a traffic light one, that a little burst and then fizzled out. So we didn't get a big finish to that 3rd round, but that was that control and discipline that they've been asking for in the corner for Dickinson in that 3rd round.
Yeah, just seeing in this replay, I think we just that Meanwell just nudging that low blow in a little bit. I want to see if he just says a few words to him in the middle of that round. Maybe not.
Yeah, Meanwell's been complaining about Dickinson dropping a couple of those shots a little bit too low beneath the belt line for his liking. Real stern talking to for Dickinson in the corner. Let's see if they put a little bit of fire in his belly now. Won't want him to go gung-ho, it's not about that, but they want to fire him up in the sense to stay switched on, stay disciplined, execute what we're asking you to do.
It's been a little bit busier, a bit more busier this now, Mason, a bit more alert all of a sudden. See, nice body shot there.
That's better from Dickinson. That's better for him, and there's the variety that we've been perhaps missing a little bit, Max. It's been lots of straight shots and been easy for Meanwell to predict and to defend. When you start dropping down to the body as well,
yeah,
I've mixed it up a bit, and not those ones that are below the belt that he's complained about. He got a couple around the back of the elbows there, and it gave Meanwell something to think about. This is better movement from Dickinson as well. He's been going in and out in straight lines, fairly predictable. Shipped to backhand there, but he's been pivoting more, hasn't he? Moving laterally.
Definitely, yeah. I saw. I've seen him in the gym, and spars really well. I know spars different to a real life bout, but he's so sharp in sparring. So if he can get to that 10% into a bout, he's good. He's really good, and he's just seen snippets of it.
This has been much better in this 4th round from Dickinson. He has stayed switched on. He's not really allowed Meanwell many opportunities. He's taken a couple of backhands, but nothing too much. Meanwhile, he's managed to get his own shots off. There's been a bit more variety. Backhand uppercuts made its way through a couple of times, and more movement from Dickinson as well. This has been a better 4th round so far. Won't want to take any risks here though. Switches on and steps back. Doesn't want to get caught on the ropes though.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to stay on the ropes, and
that was smart from him there though, Max, because if you are going to stay on the ropes, you need to tie your opponent up, and he did that almost immediately. He didn't switch off and allow Meanwell to just let his land some leather, did he? So smarter work from him. Final 30 seconds.
Yeah, and you can and look what John Fuchs is Mason's corner's just saying. He's saying these things: tie him up, be smart. All these little tricks of the trade.
And again, he's just leaving his head up there, coming in straight lines, Dickinson, and making it easy for Meanwell to pick him off. And so he took a couple at the end there, but all round a better 4th round for Dickinson there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll see what the final results are, but I like to think Dickinson's got that.
So Mason Dickinson and Conor Meanwell making their way to the centre of the ring. We'll get our official announcement from Robert Blundell.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers. After 4 rounds of action, we go to Howard Foster's scorecard, which reads 40 points to 36 in favour of your winner from Sheffield, Mason Dynamite Dickinson.
So he'll be delighted
please a big round
to
of
go
applause for
7-1.
Conor Meanwell.
That's what it said on the back of his shirt when he made his ring walk. And we're going to hear from him now what this win means to Mason Dynamite Dickinson. Mason, you walked in here finally when your music got going with 7-1 on your back. How important was it to get another victory after that comeback from your first loss last October?
Training camp wise, yeah, I got back in after October in February, but this camp is by far the toughest camp, at least mentally. And like 3 weeks ago, I wasn't sure if I even wanted to do this because it scared me, and I knew I had to get in there. Forget everyone else. I had to prove myself right, but I'm made for this. I'm good enough for this, and I proved that tonight.
As comfortable as you are sharing with us, what was it that was providing or presenting those doubts in your mind?
It's that loss, you know. People say it's make or break, and very soon might have beaten him once since it's done, but no. I've had a lot of setbacks throughout my years of boxing, but a professional loss, all them cameras worldwide, it hit me deep, and every run, it didn't get easier. It got harder because I thought, I'm waking up in these cold mornings, everyone's still in bed, and you know, you run sun in dark and you're on your own. It's a mental game, and each morning I felt stronger. These last few weeks, this week especially, it's the first time I felt myself since probably July now.
Well, listen, that's more important even than a victory, is that you're happy doing the thing that you love. But how did you feel in there tonight?
I felt I belonged. I felt very, very comfortable, and I knew Conor were tough. I'm glad I studied him. I studied some of his fights. I knew he talked to wind up some of his opponents, and that's what he tried doing there. And I remember last time I was with Dale, and he talked to me, and I responded. I played his game, and this time I took to my plans, and I feel it's one of the best I've boxed. Yeah, I took a few, but you're not going to get in shower without getting wet. Come on, so yeah, I'm comfortable in there now.
Control and discipline was key there. Did you feel that you did that? And a bit of excitement in the 4th round as well?
Yeah, I did get excited. I felt a few and thought, you know what, I think I got him there, but Conor said, John said in corner, you've got to stay disciplined, stay to the plan, and as tough as it were, I did that, and I got the rewards for it every round.
We had 7-1 on your back. You've accomplished that now. We had a new mask, which we always like to see from you. And what would you like to say to everyone who's supported you through what has obviously been a really difficult time?
Thank you, my sponsors. More importantly, thank you to my fans. Everyone who stuck by me. It thought you grew stronger, you grew bigger, and I genuinely couldn't do it without you. I'm so thankful. You're the reason I do this. Thank you.
Well, listen, I'm glad that you're feeling back to yourself. Well done, and we're looking forward to seeing you again on Fight Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to welcome our next boxers to the ring. Please welcome first and making their way to the blue corner, originally from Italy and now boxing out of Manchester, Elliot Eboigbe.
So here comes 26-year-old Elliot Eboigbe, goes by the Enigma, an Italian, now lives in Manchester. He's had 7 outings already this year, all points losses, and his debut last year in May. His last win came in July of last year. The 26-year-old faces Ryan Amos.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, making his way to the red corner, from Nottingham, the Punisher, Ryan Amos.
So the Enigma in the blue corner faces the Punisher in the red corner, Ryan Amos. He's got quite the reputation for these wonderful, brightly coloured hits that he wears in the ring. The man from Clifton in Nottinghamshire, 35 years old, managed by Scott Owen. Last out, just had the 1 fight this year, a points win against Jake Smith in Nottingham. Had 4 last year, that 10-rounder of course against Bilal Fawaz at York Hall. And he got a draw against Jack Flatley last March in Bolton. Let's see what he can do this evening here at Skate Central in Sheffield.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Skate Central in Sheffield on Fight Zone, Fight Academy proudly presents 6 rounds of action in the super welterweight division. Our timekeeper at the bell for this contest is Anthony Rushton. Our referee in the ring, Mark Downing, and scoring the contest from ringside is Reese Carter. Introducing our first boxer, boxing out of the blue corner and wearing the red shorts. On the scales, he weighed in 10 stone, 10 pounds and 12 ounces. This evening taking part in his 15th contest as a professional. Originally from Italy, now boxing out of Manchester, Elliot Eboigbe. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent facing him across the ring and boxing out of the red corner, wearing the multicoloured shorts. On the scales, he weighed in 11 stone, 2 pounds and 6 ounces. He has an excellent professional record, 15 wins, only 2 losses and 2 draws. Introducing the former Midlands area super welterweight champion, from Nottingham, the Punisher, Ryan Amos!
Right boys, you both know the rules. In fight, listen to my instructions, make sure you protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, back to your corner.
Here we go then, we've got Elliot Eboigbe, the Italian, boxing out of Manchester in those maroon and white and gold shorts. And Ryan Amos, the Punisher, from Nottinghamshire, in the multicoloured shorts with the checkered pattern. And this one taking no time. to catch fire as the two into an exchange straight away, and heavy lead hand from Amos. Midlands area champion, as you were just hearing, and boxed another regional champion in Bilal Fawaz at York Hall in a 10-rounder last year, so he's had some decent experience in his 19 contests. Sharp lead hand finishes that exchange and catches Eboigbe. Eboigbe fighting out of that southpaw stance and just trying to figure Amos out. Can be a heavy puncher at times, Amos. There's a bit of power in those fists of his. And I know that you've interviewed him in the last couple of weeks, Max, and there's something big on the horizon for him that you two were talking about coming up next, of course.
Yes, you know, this is obviously, if he gets through this, and touch wood he does, he's going in for a Commonwealth against Constantino.
Oh, good backhand there from Amos.
Yeah, he's going in a top tier Constantino, so for the Commonwealth, so it's a good opportunity for him, for Ryan. But he has to get through this, of course.
And he'll be glad to get some rounds under his belt and keep sharp, stay switched on, get some good preparation for that Commonwealth title. 6-3 is this one scheduled for. Really loading up with those hooks with both the lead hand and the backhand, Amos, when he gets chance, and he's trying to fire an uppercut through there as well, as the two just in a tangle as Amos backed up onto the ropes. Just trying to create space to work, the two of them. Ending up in a clinch, and that's sometimes what can happen with a clash of styles, particularly southpaw against orthodox. Just the lead hand clubbing round the right side of Eboigbe's head there. It started with a fairly frantic opening 15 seconds, this one, and then it settled somewhat, but Amos always pushing Eboigbe back, in a decent first round, Max.
Yeah, Ryan is a very powerful puncher. He likes to be up close, personal, so his opponent, he's got to be on his bike a little bit. You know, Ryan, he's very up close and personal sort of fighter, you know, so yeah, very powerful.
And of course it's a balancing act in a way that when you've got something on the horizon like a title, and you don't want to take any unnecessary risks. It's not always about the shots that you take, that goes without saying, but you have to be careful not to pick up any hand injuries or anything that could be a setback for that title fight. So he'll want to win and win well. He won't want to necessarily throw everything but the kitchen sink at his opponent, because it's all right when there's a title on the line, but you want to get to that point first, Max.
Yes, definitely. And
so a balancing act here for Amos.
Yeah.
But he has the experience to do that.
Yeah, he definitely. Look, Amos, I think, just wants rounds out and see what he can do.
He tucks up well and is up close to Eboigbe, and then he just bides his time and then comes marauding forward with those looping shots, and they're that clubbing, thudding type of power, aren't they, where he just thumps them around the side of the head of Eboigbe.
It's like a thud, isn't it? It doesn't sting. He really, it's like he's got a brick in his glove.
There's all sorts of different types of power, those sharp stinging shots that come from speed, and then those clubbing, thudding type of shots, which Amos appears to have when he throws his hands. Eboigbe just catching one from that lead hook there, and smart to tie Amos up.
Oh, nice straight backhand by Amos then.
Eboigbe on the way out just needs to be a little bit tighter with his hands, because he does tend to throw those, as I say, those looping hooks, does Amos. And if you're stepping back without your hands up, Max, you're really vulnerable to those, aren't you? If you don't have your feet beneath you, it could be a real spot of bother.
Yeah, and Amos is very, very, very powerful. I've seen it, and yeah, he's got dynamite in those gloves. You can see, look, you can feel him, you can hear him there.
15 wins, 2 by way of stoppage. Sometimes the record doesn't always reflect a fighter's true power. You can see that should you be caught off guard, and especially with your feet not quite beneath you, can be a real threat, can Amos. Eboigbe just loading up and trying to launch that backhand of his own. Just trying to measure it up there, wasn't he? And Amos tucked up. Eboigbe just pushing Amos back up against the ropes. Bit of a wrestle between the two here, and they can be draining these. Eboigbe just stepping across and covered the distance quite quickly there, and just tried to get some shots off as his own, but well controlled round from Amos again, Max.
Yeah, I think Amos, again, you know, he just likes a firefight. He's great at firefight. And when his opponent's just pipping and trying to, you know, move after so many, you know, exchanges, Amos obviously he doesn't like that, does he? So Amos needs to try to get him in the corner or get him on the ropes a little bit more.
Both looking fairly composed in the corner, just taking instructions, and just coming up on the third round here, and I don't think there'll be any particular need or reason for Amos to go through the gears here and really try and step things up, because as we've mentioned, there is a title on the horizon for him, chance to compete for the Commonwealth title, so won't want to take any unnecessary risks. He just switches stance to the southpaw stance there, and back to orthodox as he continues to pursue Eboigbe. He's just finding a way over that lead right hand of Eboigbe is Amos, with that looping left.
Amos just got a slight telling off by the referee.
Eboigbe just trying to work to the body. Takes risks at times, does Eboigbe, doesn't he, when he's throwing there to the body, and no protection for his head. Manages to skip away on that occasion though. Chin is up in the air though. And it's there sometimes when he's stepping away, and Amos doesn't stop swinging, does he? He throws those looping shots as he's on the retreat, and he's just got to be a little bit savvy to that, the Eboigbe, when he's on the way out after these exchanges. A little bit unorthodox sometimes, the way that he initiates these attacks, Amos, isn't he, Max? That he looks like he's out of range, but then he sort of launches in with the looping shots, and it can be difficult to defend against.
He sort of like punches and follows it, if that makes sense, and tries to launch his whole body and smothers the opponent. and gets up close, and he just gets beyond the range. Like that. See, and that's where he's good at, just in the pocket and up close and personal. This is where he likes it, like this. Suits him. He's always done it. And he doesn't take any backward steps, Amos, if you notice. He always goes forward, always forward.
Eboigbe just happy to lean on Amos and see out the last few seconds of that third round to the belt. And business as usual in that third round, Max.
Yes, I think Amos, he did, as we'll see, we'll probably on the clips in a minute, he just likes it in the pocket, up close. The range sort of stuff doesn't suit Amos at all. He doesn't like it, and when it's that little bit of space between him and his opponent, you know, he just wants to get that gap, you know, as in, you know, to get close to him. So, you know, Amos, yeah, great. You know, I would like to see just a little bit, apply a little bit more pressure now. I feel we can go up a gear or two.
Well, this one's scheduled for 6-3s as we enter the fourth round. So at the halfway point, as again both fighters taking instructions from their corners, and it's been a fairly steady pace this has. Eboigbe having somewhat of a cameo role, just stepping in here and there, putting some combinations together, but generally been controlled by Amos. There's that clubbing lead hand, just connected with Eboigbe.
Good hook by Amos, moved away. Nice backhand.
Does look a little like an element of frustration kicking in for Amos, as his hands are low now and he's just wanting Eboigbe to come forward. He's trying to draw him onto something.
Yeah, I think Amos...
Sticking his head right in the firing line with low hands, just inviting Eboigbe forward, isn't he?
Yes, exactly. And I think Amos just having his hands down. He wants to invite the pressure because he just wants a firefight, and that's what Amos invites, and he likes that. It suits him.
I think he's looking for Eboigbe to open up a little bit to create some openings for himself. But Eboigbe won't want to offer him any clear opportunities, of course. Just continuing to press forward, Amos. The familiar pattern and rhythm to it has this one. Amos just edging forward behind that front foot. Just trying to fashion an opening. Good little layback from Amos, but wasn't able to connect with the counter. As the two again just end up in a tangle. And again, a really familiar pattern. There's been no shift in momentum. It's been a solid, controlled performance from Amos, and Eboigbe has played his part, of course, but Amos very much applying the pressure. A solid 4 rounds for the Punisher. 35 years old, Max, so he'll want to take every opportunity that he's got now, of course.
Yeah.
The 35-year-old, he's got that experience behind him, but he'll want to make sure that he takes every opportunity he can at this stage of his career.
Yeah, boxing, look, Father Time comes in boxing quite quick, and Amos has had some hard fights, to be fair to him, so these opportunities that he's got coming next, providing he gets through this, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for anyone, Stacey. So you're right there.
Just a couple of feints with the front foot from Amos, and perhaps that is a tactic he's employing to try and draw something from Eboigbe, because dropping his hands and walking forward and inviting him on didn't evoke anything from Eboigbe. Trying everything he can, Amos, to just try and open him up, and he did there for a second. Eboigbe, he opened up and he was exposed, but Amos not able to connect.
Yeah, Amos, I just see a little bit of a shootout there then. That's where Amos likes it best.
Just working away to that tattooed torso of Eboigbe is Amos, as he puts his head down and marauds forward once again. Both men seem fairly comfortable with this pace, Max. Nobody's mouth is gaping open, and it's not been fought at a frantic pace, has it? It's been steady, but solid, continuous work from both of them, but both really well conditioned, so not asking massive questions of one another in that regard.
I think, if I'm honest, like we keep saying about rounds, Ryan wants to get the rounds out, so if he can get a solid workout out, not show too much. I do feel we can go up a pace, but sometimes you've got to conserve, so it's each their own.
Was a big shot, backhand, and then followed up by a lead hook from Amos there. Just seemed to affect Eboigbe for a moment there, but he gets a couple of seconds to recover there. Has it taken something out of him? He's looking a little bit at 6s and 7s here, Eboigbe. Not quite got his feet back yet, perhaps. The feet are a little bit all over the place. Just needs to get his shape once again, does Eboigbe. Just rattled him there a little, Max, didn't he? And he was just a little just lost his shape there for a moment, didn't he? And his feet just didn't quite look beneath him, did he? Didn't quite have his...
Yeah, right, But this is what the thing is, it ties up Amos quite well. When he gets a bit too much for him, ties up quite well, and use the show like he did was quite Kevin pivoted off.
And of course it's the safest place to be, isn't it? Right on someone's chest.
Yes, absolutely.
Not allowing them any space to get their shots off. It is the safest place to be, and that's what Eboigbe's done on a number of occasions, and it's been the sensible thing to do. He's getting a talking to in the corner there, and I think that was because, I'm guessing, this little phase here where he took a few risks and was swinging without protecting himself. And Amos, he poses a threat because we know he's got some solid weight when he throws some leather, but Eboigbe manages to survive the storm, and we await the 6th and final round. Final round then. Ryan Amos And Elliot, Eboigbe. It's been steady, this one. Been enough jeopardy at times, but Amos looks determined here to push forward and bring some heat to Eboigbe. Just falling short with some of these shots. Just needs to bring his feet with him, Amos. But should he connect with some of these shots, it could be a real problem for Eboigbe. He tends to throw and be a little bit reckless with his defence at times. And that, of course, makes for an exciting watch for the spectators, but a bit risky for Eboigbe. Finds himself up against the ropes and again just manages to tie Amos up, and that's smart work, preventing Amos from getting those big looping, thudding shots off. Eboigbe again, just tying Amos up. As we said before, right on the chest. Safest place to be. Doesn't want to allow Amos just to take that little step back and create space to launch those heavy hands of his. Oh, that's a big shot there from Amos with that lead hand. Steps straight onto Eboigbe. He's got to weather the storm here. Just manages to contain Amos momentarily while he clears his head, but that was a big shot from Amos. Really did connect with Eboigbe, and a word from the referee. Who can blame him for tying Amos up, but not allowed to do it, and eventually the ref will have a word. He was just about to tie him up there, but since that word from the referee, steps back, and this will be difficult for Eboigbe now, because it's been a key tactic of his to tie Amos up, and it's worked for him, but won't be able to get away with it for the remainder of this. 30 seconds. Needs to stay on his bike. Not allow Amos to tee off. Certainly doesn't want to trade with him at close quarters, where Amos is so powerful and effective. Final 10 seconds. Amos just loading up. Eboigbe just managing to make it scrappy enough for Amos not to be able to land anything clean. But there was a cracking shot landed, which really did connect well from Amos in that sixth and final round. And that was a good all-round performance for the man from Nottinghamshire, and an important 6 rounds to get under his belt, as now he'll look ahead to the opportunity to fight for the Commonwealth title. A really good third bout of the evening here at Skate Central in Sheffield. The Punisher against the Enigma. And it is an intriguing one. Let's get our official announcement from Robert Blundell.
Ladies and gentlemen, could we please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers. After 6 rounds of action, we go to Reece Carter's scorecard, which reads 60 points to 54 in favour of your winner, the Punisher, Ryan Amos.
Huge applause from the supporters of Ryan Amos, who are just sat just behind us from our commentary position, and they will be absolutely delighted, having made the short journey from Nottingham to support Ryan Amos, the Punisher, as the 35-year-old advances to 16 wins now. And we'll talk to him in just a moment as he looks ahead to the Commonwealth title challenge coming up. But Ryan, you've had some really good experience, albeit, you know, not had a huge amount of fights, but you've had enough now to have a lot of experience and some tough 10-rounders as well. How did that fare in there tonight? How tough was he as an opponent?
You know what? He's very tough. He looks tough, but he's tougher than what he looks as well. I thought I was going to get him out. I thought I was going to get him out. My style just try and break him down from the get-go, go all the way down. But he took some great shots in there. It was good experience. He knows what to do, knows how to tie up and stuff. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
You look to possess that real kind of thudding type of power as opposed to that sharp stinging power, and you really caught him with a solid shot that connected so well in that final round. And what were the tactics going in here today?
Just break him down with pressure. Sometimes the way that I train, the way I do my circuits, and the way that I train strength and conditioning, it's just all pressure. It's either me or him, basically. And that's what I was aiming for. See if I could break him down in the later rounds, which I started to. But like I said, 6 rounds was enough for him, and he could hang on.
Well, you've had the experience of being Midlands champion, of course. We know that on the horizon for you is the opportunity to fight for the Commonwealth title. We'll talk about that next, but before that, did that make it difficult tonight? Because of course you want to win, you want to perform at your best. You don't want to take any risks either.
Yeah, it always makes you a bit nervous, you know what I mean? Especially taking the fight so close. I mean, I was supposed to fight in June or something like that, just before the summer holidays. Just due to a lot of things, it just never happened. Opponents changing and all that stuff. So I'm fortunate. I'm just happy to just keep going. That's the main thing.
So, final word then on that Commonwealth title. A great opportunity. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, you know what? It's a 12th rounder. I'm excited. I can't wait. This is what I've been training for all from the beginning. Like I said, I didn't start from the amateurs. I started from the unlicensed. You know what I mean? So I had loads of unlicensed fights, and then I had a short amateur career, in about 25 fights, something like that, and then went straight to pros. So really and truly, I've done everything back to front, but it's been a good learning curve.
Well, it's certainly got the right way around for you now, and you had great support in here. We could hear them all the way through. So we're delighted for them and for you. Well done. And we really look forward to seeing you take that Commonwealth title. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to welcome our next boxers to the ring. Please welcome first, and making their way to the blue corner, from Leicestershire, George Roberts.
So George Rogers, the man from Leicestershire, 30-year-old, only his third outing this year, but he got a draw last month. Let's see what he can put on, the performance he can put on for the Sheffield crowd here this evening.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, making his way to the red corner, from right here in Sheffield, Dylan Tricky Trevor.
Here comes Tricky Trevor, a really popular character in these parts. His fans easily recognisable in that bright orange kit that his coaches are wearing. The 26-year-old hails from right here in Sheffield, another product of the Titans boxing gym. Made his debut here in March with a points win against Sam Kirk. He had brilliant support that night. He's managed to bank 2 more wins since, and he'll be looking to add another to go 4-0 this evening. The crowd on their feet, and he'll have great support in here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Skate Central in Sheffield, on Fight Zone, Fight Academy proudly presents 4 rounds of action in the Super Welterweight division. Our timekeeper at the bell for this contest is Peter Humphrey, and our referee in charge, scoring the action, star referee, Reese Carter. Sheffield, that is our officials. If you're ready to welcome our boxers, make some noise! Introducing first and boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the grey shorts. On the scales, he weighed 11 stone, 5 pounds and 12 ounces. This evening taking part in his 41st contest as a professional. From Leicestershire, George Roberts! And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent facing him across the ring and boxing out of the red corner, wearing the orange shorts. On the scales, he weighed in 11 stone, 4 pounds and 6 ounces. He has a perfect professional record. 3 wins from 3 contests. From right here in Sheffield, Dylan Tricky Trevor!
As you can see, the crowd on the feet, we've got banners everywhere, we've got bright orange flags. Orange is the colour, it's the favourite colour of Dylan Trevor's little nephew, Ollie, who watches his uncle at home with great pride, and it's him who is one of the people he wants to make proud, but there's plenty of proud support in here for Dylan Trevor in, no surprise, the bright orange shorts, in against George Rogers in the grey and black, and the crowd in fine voice always gets a great reception, does Tricky Trevor. He's a self-proclaimed nerd. He says he has a telescope, but nothing nerdy about him once he gets in the boxing ring. He's a sharp shooter and he wastes no time. As you can see here, front foot feints there, just looking to get his shots off on Rogers, who's got his work cut out here. Of course, when you've got that kind of support, you want to put on a performance. Backhand lands, checks the chin of Rogers, and he's in trouble here, is the man from Leicestershire. As Trevor forces him back again. Real spite and intention in his shots. And as I say, when you've got a crowd like this, the adrenaline sears through your veins and you want to put on a performance for them. You'll have to keep a cool head and keep composed. But of course, when he gets chance, he's got some real venom in his work, has Dylan Trevor. His aim last year was to keep real high quality in all rounds, he was saying to me. He wants to move through the gears and he wants to start getting some stoppages. He's 3-0, none by stoppage. And he really wants to get a stoppage on his record. Maybe he'll feel that he could have such an opportunity this evening. Rogers just trying to work away, fight fire with fire, but Dylan Trevor pushing him back again. Rogers just manages to slip away from that attack, fires one into the midriff, pushes Rogers back, reading him round the left side of the temple of Rogers now. He's again looking a little unsteady on his feet and tentative is Rogers, and who can blame him? There's been some real firepower coming from Trevor already in this opening round. Just trying to cut the ring off as the back of Rogers just skimming the ropes as he's using every single inch of the canvas here, trying to make it difficult for Trevor to set his feet, because when he does, he can be dangerous. A smile from Trevor and then back to business. Another product of that Titans boxing gym that we were talking about earlier. What a stable they've got. all in great form, and they'll be pushing each other on in the gym for these big nights that they work towards. Trevor again just teeing off as he pushed Rogers back into that neutral corner. He got into boxing, did Dylan Trevor, as a youngster. He was naughty at school and his mum took him to the gym. Didn't take it too seriously at first until around the age of 16, and then that's when he decided to take it seriously, and he'll have no regrets. He hasn't looked back since. And he has really got this Sheffield crowd excited, Max.
You know what? I like this kid. Well, I say kid, he's 27. You wouldn't think that. And Dylan is so exciting to watch, and we've just seen that. He's got great support, and he's such a model professional. You know, during the day, slot machines, fixing them, and you know, and he does this either snippets of the day. He gets time off, and obviously on the night time. Fantastic lad.
Well, I think there's a tough night's work for Rogers. It's scheduled for 4 threes this, but Dylan Trevor has got the bit between his teeth. He's got the support behind him. We know that he's hungry for a stoppage, and he has looked in danger at times, Rogers. And you can see the marks on his back. That's from the ropes, as his back has skimmed them on many an occasion. Rogers, as he's just tried to stay as far away from particularly that backhand of Trevor as possible. Taking his time here, Trevor. He's not forcing anything, just waiting for the openings. And he's enjoying this, is Dylan Trevor. He's comfortable in there, and he's on the hunt. Steps across, fires one into the body. And Rogers skating on thin ice, you feel. Just a matter of time before Trevor detonates that backhand and edging his way in. Controlling the distance and the range here, Trevor. And it really is taking his time, trying to set something up. All Rogers can do once that storm comes brewing is tuck up.
Oh, very nice backhand by Trevor there.
And he's offering very little, Rogers, and you can't blame him for that, because as soon as he opens up, Trevor fires back with really heavy counters. So Rogers not taking any risks whatsoever, as again just dances his way out of the neutral corner. Trevor again stepping forward in constant pursuit of his man. Just going from corner to corner to corner is Rogers.
I like that pivot off by Trevor there. The attack comes from Rogers, a nice exchange then again by
and that's
Trevor.
what he's going to have to do, isn't it, Max, is to change the angles and find a way through here to make it difficult for Rogers. Perhaps tap and then add a bit of firepower just to mix it up, so it's not predictable for Rogers. Maybe dropping a jab to the body and come over with that backhand, just whatever he can do to mix things up and make it unpredictable for Rogers.
It's just very exciting. I feel there's something's going to happen with Dylan every time he fires.
Backhand makes its way through, but Rogers again survives that mini storm. Trevor again in pursuit, just trying to cut the ring off.
Good round by
with
Trevor.
Rogers, it's like watching somebody walk on a tightrope, isn't it, and just worrying that they're going to fall off at any moment. But so far has survived the opening 2 rounds. You see some of his work there in the replay. Rogers making it difficult, trying to be as evasive as possible defensively, but Dylan Trevor is finding a way through. But if he wants a stoppage here, he's going to have to change things. Going to have to change the angles, change his approach, mix his attacks up in order to fashion an opening. But when he does, certainly possesses the power to trouble Rogers. Let's see how effective he can be in this third round. This is where Rogers could be particularly vulnerable, and he tries to throw some shots of his own, and if Trevor allows him to do that and just times it with an accurate counter, that could be the breakthrough he's looking for. Some real visible marks on the back of Rogers from those ropes. He's found himself pressed up against on many occasions from Trevor. There he is again, back to the ropes as he just throws a speculative looping backhand over. And perhaps just needs to mix things up a little, Trevor, to move his head on the way in, maybe feint and try and draw something from Rogers. Connects there though. Can he follow up? Rogers just managing to make it difficult for Trevor to connect. Backed up into the corner again though. Did well just to take the heat out of that one, did Rogers. And Trevor found a way through there. Perhaps just needs to tap once or twice and then follow up rather than all the shots being heavy in some of these exchanges. He needs to go to the body first, then up to the head, just anything he can do to mix things up, because when he does get the chance, he's really dangerous, is Dylan Trevor. But he's got to create the openings. Rogers managing just to keep him off for now, but for how long? 45 seconds remaining in this third round. Trevor steps across, pushes Rogers back again. Rogers doing well to survive these storms. Just on his bike now again. He's back skimming the ropes. He's tentative to throw his Rogers, and you cannot blame him, because there's some real heavy artillery coming back his way when he does. Choosing instead just to get on his bike. Dancing around, just trying to run that clock down. And hear the bell to signal the end of the third, and there it is. You can see here some of that work from Rogers. Just that's when he's at his most vulnerable, when he's throwing, and you could see that there as Trevor coming right through and connecting with that overhand right. And it's seldom that we've seen Rogers open up like that, and for good reason. And Dylan Trevor now has 3 minutes to get that stoppage that he wants, but he won't want to force it. He'll want to try and set it up, and if that doesn't happen, then it's still been a really, really good performance from the man from Sheffield.
I feel Dylan can get the stoppage. If he really wants it, he can get it.
Well, sometimes the more you want it, the more it doesn't come, Max, doesn't it? And he certainly will want a stoppage. Who doesn't? But it's how you set it up and how you make that happen. And that's part of the development in the professional ranks, isn't it? Of how to finish an opponent, either with one big shot or with sustained pressure. That was a lovely shot to the body, just below that tattoo on the chest of Rogers from Trevor. Now can he land those shots to the body and come over the top with that backhand, because that's where the opening could be. There we go, there goes that body shot again. Is he setting it up for the backhand?
it's almost he's inviting it. He wants to open out. He wants to invite Rogers to actually punch and, you know, get a jab like that.
Sometimes a smart tactic, isn't it, to throw the same shot a couple of times, but on the third time follow up with a backhand or a lead hook or whatever it might be, depending on the combination, when your opponent isn't expecting it.
Rogers looks very wary in there, and you know, I just feel Dylan could just step on the gas here.
Nice double jab from Trevor. Rogers continues to skate on thin ice, but he has managed somehow, wily character he is, to survive these rounds. He is experienced. 36 contests, and of his 34 losses, only been stopped twice, and you can see why. He does make it difficult. He can land a shot on him, but he seldom does he give you another. He'll tie you up, he'll slip and slide, and you can see, looks almost like he's received 50 lashes with a whip to his back, Rogers, doesn't he? Such has been the force of Dylan Trevor pushing him back against them ropes. His back covered in marks from the ropes now.
I think if Dylan just that little bit more, bit busy with the jab, and I just want to see a bit more volume, I feel he could get a stoppage. But I think he's coasting it out and playing safe now, and just happy to just get this win.
Nice work from Trevor. Connects with a couple of shots there as Rogers just falls to his knees. Skipping around the ring once again, finds himself pinned in the neutral corner. Trevor just ducking and bobbing and weaving and trying to find an opening. Referee just pushing him back, and final few seconds here.
Good work by Dylan.
And he did say that he wanted a stoppage, Trevor, but he will be really happy with the way he went about his work tonight. He'll progress to 4-0. And the support in here has been tremendous.
Absolutely brilliant.
And you would expect they'll be delighted with the performance their man put on.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers? After 4 rounds of action, we go to referee Reese Carter's scorecard, which reads 40 points to 36 in favour of your winner, still undefeated from Sheffield, Dylan "Tricky" Trevor. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for George Rogers.
Huge delight here inside Skate Central in Sheffield, all clad in bright orange, Tricky Trevor's supporters, and they've had plenty to cheer about as the man from Sheffield progresses to 4-0. Well, it was a real pleasure to be here for your debut. You've had a couple of wins since then. You've just added a 4. But first, talk to me about the amazing support that you're building this early in your career.
Yeah, I absolutely love every single person that comes to support. Every single one. They're here with the flags, balloons, orange.
Yeah, they're definitely easy to spot.
Every single one at home, everyone that messages me, support's unreal. And don't know what I'd be without them, so.
I know you said that you were looking for a stoppage. Looked like you could almost have it at times, but hopefully not too disappointed with that, because a really good performance.
In moments I were a little bit frustrated, but it's all part of the learning, innit? Can't look for it too much. So at moments I was resetting, going back to basics. He's an hard kid to get out of there. He's had 40 bouts, been stopped once, twice or something, sorry.
Twice.
Yeah, so it's a tough kid to get out of there. It's experience enough to hold, experience enough to slow it down a bit. So, another one to the bank. The stoppages will come.
Yeah, he's a wily character, isn't he? He's tough and he makes it tricky, which is what you're supposed to do, but you certainly did. You said last year that one of your things that you were looking to do was be solid and have quality in every single round. Do you feel like you've reached that now?
I've won every round I've ever had, so what more can I ask for? Like I said, I do want to start getting kids out of there. I'm only going up and up and up every fight. I feel like I'm getting better, I'm showing more what I'm capable of. And they'll come, I promise you they'll come, but at the moment, every round's a blessing to add to the tank. It's all experience. I'm just getting better and better.
Well, thank goodness you made the decision to get back in the gym after you had a break as a 16-year-old. I'm sure that's not something you'll ever look back on. What are the plans? Is there a plan for another one before the end of the year?
Yeah, definitely. There's some big things in the works. So yeah, before the end of the year, I want to make a big announcement. I'm looking for big stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting, and I know your nephew Ollie is a big fan of yours, but you've made a huge, brightly clad in orange crowd, very proud here. What does that support mean to you finally?
Ollie's got his orange gloves, orange t-shirt, orange shorts. He watches every fight. He can't be here today because he's on holiday. As much as he pestered his mum and dad, which are massive supporters as well. Like they all are. They're all, like I say, they're all massive supporters. So another one for Ollie, yeah?
Listen, it was a fantastic atmosphere, a brilliant performance, and we can't wait for the big announcement. Well done.
Yeah, no problem. One more thing, just before I do go. Obviously, on the news of Ricky Hatton and the loss that we've had, recently been in contact with a club, Andy Mann's club. It's a club just for anyone to kind of join. They're all over the place, and their aim is just to talk, because at the end of the day, it's okay to talk, and it happens more and more. And I think tragic as it is for losing someone like Ricky Hatton, it does open the door for people being more aware, talking about it. So just know that, if you are up there alone, it's okay to talk. Reach out to someone, anyone. Andy Mann's club is a good little thing that ran. If you need any support, they're always there.
That's a brilliant message, and you're a great role model for that. Thank you for saying that, and we're looking forward to seeing you in action again. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I please have everybody's attention? We're going to pause for a moment and take this opportunity to pay tribute to a true legend of British boxing. Tonight, we remember one of the most popular fighters this country has ever produced, Ricky the Hitman Hatton. We're now going to invite our promoters, Dennis Hobson, into the ring. Dennis promoted Ricky during one of his most successful periods of his career and was also a close friend. Dennis is now going to pay tribute in his own way. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Hobson.
Thanks, Bobby. Can I just say before I start, in 30 years of boxing, my greatest ever journey was with the one and only Sheffield legend, world champion Clinton Woods, who stood there. I love you, Clint. Not so long ago, the boxing family lost an absolute legend, and He was somebody who touched the whole of the United Kingdom because everybody felt as though he was their friend. I have the privilege of working with him and promoting and we won 4 world titles together. Broke America, and he went on to win, you know, to fight Floyd Mayweather. So, you've seen tonight, Ricky Hatton started at this level. And who knows, tonight we may have seen another Ricky Hatton. But what I want to do is pay tribute to somebody who wasn't just a friend. He came in the corner, helped me in the corner with Clinton Woods in one of his toughest ever fights against Glencoe Johnson. And he wasn't. I didn't just promote him. When I went to Vegas, I'm a kid off the Stradbroke estate in Sheffield, and Ricky Hatton were promoting me as his promoter. He were unbelievable. So that's the kind of guy he was. He's so humble. He never forgot where he came from. He was a superstar. And all the Boxing Board of Control, I'm sure they'll be listening to me here now. They all thought he was their friend, and that's how he treated us all. But like I say, I had the privilege, and we had a fantastic journey. The 4 fights were amazingly successful. And I'm privileged, because I'm a boxing fan. I just happen to be a promoter, and not a bad one at that. But I've been fortunate to be involved with many world champions, and my first one was obviously Clinton Woods. But the journey we had with that amazing character, Ricky, we need to stop and think of, and what we've got to do in this crazy world is look at each other and sometimes say to each other, it's okay not to be okay. And whether you're a tough guy, whether you're a woman, whether you're a fella, it doesn't matter. We all have got something in our heads we can get ill. And Ricky suffered for that. And maybe if he'd have talked to somebody, he might still be here today with us. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pass you back over to Bobby. I want to thank you all for your attention and your respect. We're going to pay respect to our Ricky the Hitman Hatton. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to tribute Ricky with the traditional boxing tribute when we lose one of our own. Could everyone please be upstanding if they are able, as we observe a period of silence and the traditional boxing 10-bell salute to Ricky the Hitman Hatton. And ladies and gentlemen, as Ricky was the people's champion, we should follow that with a minute of applause. Could everyone please give a great reception to Ricky the Hitman Hatton. And Dennis, before you get out the ring, because obviously all your team at Fight Zone know how close you were with Ricky, and Dave and the rest of the lads have got you the gift in honour of Ricky. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a big round of applause for Dave from Fight Zone, who's presenting Dennis with this photo painting of Ricky the Hitman Hatton. Ladies and gentlemen, we will get back to our action shortly, but again, Ricky the Hitman Hatton!
just like to say, I don't know just how sad we all are.
Please check the screens, ladies and gentlemen.
So a little bit limited, not vintage Ricky Hatton, I wouldn't say, but a clear victor on my card. Wouldn't surprise me if the judges have that a little bit tighter than I have.
Yeah, there it is, he's got through it. Both men claiming the victory, particularly Uranga.
All three judges, Robert Hoyle, Dave Moretti, and Jerry Roth, score the bout 119-109 to the winner by unanimous decision from Manchester, England. The winner, still undefeated.
Everybody, it's John Fuchs here from the Titans Boxing. Would just like to say, I don't know just how saddened we all are and gutted we all are about the news of our country's hero, Ricky Hatton. The biggest, I think the biggest name in British boxing there's ever been. An idol of mine, someone I know personally, and something I'm absolutely devastated about. And we'd just like to say, rest in peace, Ricky. We're all going to miss you. And we love you, pal.
Letting the punch go. You can't afford just to walk a beautiful punch. Now this is what we're looking for. This is a real Ricky Hatton. We're seeing a beautiful right hand again.
Oh, he's got it with a left hook. Huge left hook. Alexis Mauser in the 9th round. Can he get up from that? They wanted to win anyway.
Mason Dickinson here. Just wanted to pay a quick tribute and pay some respect to Ricky Hatton. Very saddened to hear his passing. You know, he's a people's champ. He always had time for people. I remember seeing him at a few box cups in the amateurs, and he always had time for a photo, always had time for a chat, and he was a great person all round, and he'll be greatly missed. It's a sad time for boxing.
On the basis of that last left hand, maybe Louis Collazo has sealed the deal in the 12th round, but will it be enough on the cards? We'll find out. And there's
decision and new WBA welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of Manchester, England, Ricky Hitman.
Hi everyone, Dennis Hobson here. I'm absolutely heartbroken today. My dear friend and boxing legend Ricky Hitman Hatton has sadly passed. And from the first day, from the first promotion, I had the privilege to promote him with the Manuel fight where he unified his titles, to the times we had in America where we stepped up and won a WBA title, then went back to win the IBF 140 pound, and then the last fight I had the privilege to promote him was the Castillo fight. And it wasn't just a guy I promoted, himself and my other dear friend Matthew, his brother Matthew. It was a privilege for me to be involved with them, and two kids I regarded as family. And today is a sad, sad day. From him coming over to see me in Jersey to raise money for worthwhile charities and just to spend time. He wasn't just, like I say, a kid who I had the privilege to promote. He was a dear friend, and I'll miss you forever, my brother. Rest in peace, Ricky. I love you, pal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to get back to our boxing action, where we have 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. Please welcome first, and making their way to the blue corner, from Nicaragua, Pac-Man Jose Manuel Perez.
Here comes Pac-Man, Jose Manuel Perez, 37-year-old, Nicaraguan born. He's of Costa Rican nationality and lives in El Salvador. And for Ibn Nadim in February, who was and is, of course, one of Ricky Hatton's boxers. Got a big fight coming up on the horizon. He's had a couple of wins this year. Let's see what Pac-Man has in store for us this evening in Sheffield.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent making his way to the red corner. From Derbyshire, Jack Dillingham!
As We Will Rock You brings out around Skate Central here in Sheffield, a 22-year-old from Derbyshire, Jack Dillingham, made his debut in September 2023. He's had 5 wins on points since. He had a draw last time out in June against Ryan Griffiths for the Midlands area title. That was in Wolverhampton. We've seen him here in action before. He's an exciting prospect. He'll look to go 7-1 this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Fight Zone from Skate Central in Sheffield, where Fight Academy proudly presents 6 rounds of action in the Super Featherweight division. Our timekeeper at the bell for this contest is Anthony Rushton. Our referee in the ring, Mark Downing, and scoring the contest from ringside is Reese Carter. Introducing our first boxer, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the black shorts with white trim. On the scales, he weighed in 9 stone, 3 pounds and 10 ounces. Taking part in his 42nd contest as a professional. From Nicaragua, Pac-Man Jose Manuel Perez. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent facing him across the ring and boxing out of the red corner, wearing the black shorts with red. On the scales, he weighed in at 9 stone and 5 pounds. He comes to the ring with an unbeaten record as a professional. 6 wins and 1 draw. He has 2 big wins by way of knockout. Introducing, from Derbyshire, Jack Dillingham!
Great support in here for Jack Dillingham. Had over 50 bouts as an amateur. Last year his focus was on learning to take his time. Under the tutelage of Scott Kalo. Jack Dillingham is in the black shorts with the red. And Jose Manuel Perez in black and white shorts. And seen a number of these Nicaraguan born fighters. And they're real wily, tricky characters. They can be difficult to land clean on. 41 fights under his belt has Manuel Perez. 15 wins, 10 by stoppage, so he can hit. 25 losses, only been stopped 3 times of those 25 occasions though, so if records are anything to go by, that could say something, but Dillingham didn't have too much interest in that, as that was a nice pivot as he changed the angle there. The 22-year-old from Derbyshire, and he's impressed on the Fight Zone platform before, Matt, and he'll want to do so again this evening.
Yeah, Dillingham is very exciting. Does a bit of trickery and is a very classy fighter. I think me and you saw him at Nottingham and thought that he was really good then. So I'm eager to see how he does in this bout.
Yeah, he certainly did catch the eye. There we see again that nifty footwork, just shifting and changing the angle. It's impressive stuff in just his 8th contest, and he's not looking to hang around, Max. Only 22 years old and already contested for the Midlands area title. And they could be some of the toughest domestic titles, can't they, those area titles?
Yeah,
he got a draw in that one in June against Ryan Griffith, so that's a real show of intent and a statement of how he wants to progress as quickly as possible.
Yeah, he was in the way corner for that. It could have gone either way, that, and to be honest with you, Jack's just keen to push on and have another opportunity. He even looked to have an English, I think, the way he's going. So this is a tricky opponent. If he can get through this, it's like we're seeing, he's trying to work him out.
He's had a couple of wins this year, has Manuel Perez. A points win in June against Joe Miller in Rainton Meadows, and then in May, Jordan got a win at York Hall against Jaden Pryor. And as I say, having seen a few of the Nicaraguan fighters, often based in Spain, but of course Manuel Perez lives in El Salvador, they can really bring some surprises, let's say. They've had a couple of stoppages in some of the contests that I've seen where they've really caught their opponent off guard. And we just never know. We can have an unorthodox style, and we can see defensively evasive is Manuel Perez. But a good first round from Dillingham.
I just think as well, Dillingham in that first round is just trying to work out Perez, where he is. Doesn't stay on that line too often, but when he does, he was getting success, Dillingham.
This is what I mean, they are quite unorthodox, and he does have that Nicaraguan style that can be quite difficult puzzle to solve, if you like. Plenty of head movement, but then sometimes coming right over the top with those flailing looping shots, and we've seen fighters get caught with them, but Dillingham so far has been disciplined and controlled. And let's see if he can start to find a way through and connect on Manuel Perez now as we enter the second round. Scheduled for 6-3s this one. Plenty of time for Dillingham to break him down, figure out the puzzle in front of him, and see if he can hurt Manuel Perez. And he just waits, Manuel Perez, doesn't he? Look at him there, confident enough to leave that lead hand low and just rely on his reflexes at times, just waiting for Dillingham to throw and then react off of it. Launches forward with his shots in the gaps in between, does the Nicaraguan. And we see Dillingham changing those angles again, as we saw him do effectively in that opening round. Connects with the backhand there though. Sometimes when there's so much head movement, as he's bobbing and weaving and brings his head low, doesn't he, Perez? It can be a good tactic to go to the body, because it's much harder to move your body, and there's a smattering of blood from somebody because it's made its way all over my notes at ringside here, so
very nice.
I don't know,
yeah, it's got him off shirt, yeah.
I don't know who that's from, but there is somebody's drawn blood somewhere. Can't see anything clear though. Might just come from the nose of Manuel Perez, possibly. Other than that, can't see any obvious cuts, Max, on anybody.
No, I can see top right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Top left of Manuel Perez's head. Yeah. Just on the edge of his hairline there. There's some blood just trickling. Doesn't look like anything too concerning just at the moment, but that would explain the splattering of blood across ringside here. As Dillingham again, just really solid with that jab.
Good thing about Dillingham, he's not wasteful. He's very purposeful with his, like that, and he doesn't waste his punches.
Look at Manuel Perez though. coming back with a couple of shots of his own, and again, just really unorthodox the way he just throws those shots, doesn't he? With quite a disregard for his defence, really. Really is a tricky character, isn't it? And it is typical of that Nicaraguan style. Wily, tricky, evasive and unpredictable. And it ought not to be a problem, that cut, because it's not going to run into his eye. So provided it's not too much of a deep wound, it should be okay, and we'll get to work on the corner on that cut. Sharp 1-2 there from Dillingham to finish the round, and yep, we'll get to work on that, won't they, quickly, and just try and stem the flow of that, and we might be able to see just where it is.
Yeah, the cutman's just making work of it now.
Can't quite get a clear shot of that, but it's certainly to the left-hand side of his head, and the corner again will get to work on that, and see some angles there from ringside, and see how tricky he is, Manuel Perez. There we go, there we have a clear shot, and it is just on the just on his eyebrow, isn't it? It looks like it was on his hairline. There might be a secondary little nick there, but certainly the one that they're dealing with and paying the most attention to is on the eyebrow of Manuel Perez. Shouldn't pose too much of a problem, but certainly something you can do without. He's much the smaller man, isn't he, Dillingham? He's taller, and he tends to crouch down as well, Manuel Perez, which makes him even shorter, but that can be to your advantage sometimes if you spring up with those overhand shots. Manuel Perez just trying to get a couple of combinations off of his own. Nothing to trouble Dillingham, though.
Dillingham's just putting on a little bit of pressure, seeing what Perez does.
Really dips low, doesn't he, with his head, Manuel Perez. You just wonder if Dillingham can just fire off an uppercut. It's when his head's forward in that low position. He's open to it. Nice defensive head movement from Dillingham there. Real little wily scrapper, isn't he, Manuel Perez? Doesn't seem to have the kind of power that could really trouble Dillingham, though.
I feel Dillingham's just gone a little bit of autopilot.
Just finding it difficult to tag him because he's just very elusive defensively, is Manuel Perez, making it really difficult for Dillingham to land clean. Albeit he's trying everything he can to do so as Manuel Perez fires back. Dillingham just trying to connect. Perhaps sometimes, as I say, worthwhile working to the body if you can't connect with the head. Slam those shots into the torso instead.
Looking a bit laboured, Perez.
There's a good backhand made its way through from Dillingham as he pushes him back up against the ropes. There's a nice sequence from him and a good finish to that round for Dillingham.
Yeah, that was a good round by Dillingham. He started to put, as that round ended, he was just getting stronger and stronger. I thought, and I think, the stoppages there if he wants it. I thought Perez, he was just looking that little bit laboured end of that round in areas, and it was starting to go to a darker place. So we'll see. It's intriguing for the next round what happens.
This, of course, one of the tests for prospects as they're making their way through. Can you break your opponent down? Can you find and create those openings and make them count? It can be difficult to do, especially with a character like Manuel Perez, who does a really good job of making himself a very difficult target to land on. Dillingham just stepping in behind that front foot again. Very much in control here, Dillingham. Nothing coming from Manuel Perez to trouble him. Won't want to allow him too many free shots like that, though. And again, another one. Overhand right. Connects with the left side of the chin of Dillingham. Just really struggling to pin his man down. Loading up with these shots, plenty of spite in them. Just not able to connect cleanly.
Just sort of labour back there, Perez. I feel it's there if Dillingham keeps going in this way and form. Doesn't look great, does he, Perez?
It does look like he's starting to tire. Looking a little bit more ragged as he slams the shot into the left side of Manuel Perez's head there, and this looks like it's starting to take its toll now, this sustained pressure from Dillingham. Not able to get away from the ropes, Manuel Perez, as again just finds himself backed up by Dillingham. Managed to weather the storm though. It's a tired walk back to the stool from Manuel Perez, but that's due to that heap of pressure that Dillingham, and he imposed himself there. He really asked questions of Manuel Perez, but managed to survive that round, Max, and let's see some of that work from Dillingham.
Yeah, just going on what you just said there, Stacey. I'll tell you what, Dillingham has felt Perez, just looking at him, he's looked a lot laboured at the end of that round, that last minute or so. And he started, and the referee was even having a bit of a look. So I think if that continues, we'll see what this round brings. But I can see the referee just stepping in here, because it just doesn't look great by Perez. He's looking very, I'm looking on his stool now, he looks very tired.
And he's certainly looking a little bit dejected, whether that's the word. Certainly doesn't look fired up, but that doesn't mean to say he's not going to bite down on his gum shield if he does need to and grind out these last couple of rounds. jab snapped the head back of the Nicaraguan there from Dillingham. Dillingham, of course, looking like he's got plenty in the tank. Been well within his comfort zone in these opening rounds. Just a matter of trying to find a way through and find a way to connect clean with Manuel Perez, but he's not been troubled at all, the man from Derbyshire. So he's got plenty in the tank yet. Can he ask questions of Manuel Perez? Because you just feel if he can really put a few attacks together and turn that heat up a little bit, Manuel Perez may just wilt. Good body shot from Dillingham, and you could feel that really sink into the side of Manuel Perez from our commentary vantage point. Is right in front of us, and you could really feel that shot landing. No thud behind it. Just trying to tie Dillingham up now. Difficult to tie Dillingham up though, because he is bigger than Manuel Perez in terms of height and just sheer physical size.
I feel just Dillingham's just cruising. I think if he wants it, he can have it if he really wants it. But it's up to Dillingham. I think he's happy to cruise at this moment of time.
Chance of Dillo for Jack Dillingham. Supporters just getting behind him. 40 seconds remaining in this fifth round. It's been a bit of quiet around this as for Dillingham. Got 30 seconds remaining. Is he going to go through the gears now? Another lovely shot to the body, but Manuel Perez fires one back in reply. And I think Manuel Perez will be somewhat incentivised by this round, Max, because he looked really withered, didn't he? And like he was struggling with the pace and the pressure at the end of the fourth round, but a decent fifth round from him where he's able to sort of diffuse things a little bit.
I think the mixture, I think it's like, you know, Perez's performance or work rate was up a little bit, thinking, oh, a minute here. And it's a mixture of, you know, Dillingham maybe lacking off a little bit. Maybe Dillingham's just saved himself this next last round and he's going to go for it. We'll see.
Looks far more composed, does Manuel Perez on his stool now as he gets to his feet, and he knows he's 3 minutes away from that final bell. So sometimes it's that mental battle, Max, in that, let's say, the fourth round, and it feels a long way to that final bell, but you get through the fifth and then suddenly you're in the last round and you just get that last bit of wind in your sails to finish the job. But Dillingham, he has the wind in his sails too, and he'll be looking to break down Manuel Perez in this final round. There's a couple of shots connecting there, and there's far less head movement from Manuel Perez now than what we saw previously.
Yeah, it's a bit of showboating by Dillingham. I think he's just cruising. He's just going to see if it's there. I think he's going to go for it. Nice backhand by Perez, caught Dillingham there, so he's still dangerous. And again, more of a pat though.
A little more pep in his step now has Manuel Perez. Certainly after that really tough fourth round. Took a lot out of him, that did, but he's rallied, and credit to him. He's still in there. He's landed a couple of his own on occasion too. Dillingham just snapping out that jab and then tucking up.
Nice backhand.
Can he just change those angles again, as we saw him do effectively in the first round, or perhaps mix it up down to the body and back upstairs again? But he connects with that backhand.
Nice right hand by Dillingham.
Finds a way through Dillingham. Can he sustain this now? Just uses his shoulder to push Manuel Perez back. Referee spots it and has a word. No hard feelings, touch of gloves, and we're into the final minute. There's that change of angles, that little step across that he does so well, and that allows him to fire off that backhand and catch Manuel Perez during that sequence. Chance of Dillo again, getting behind their man as this one reaches its final stages. Been a good performance from Jack Dillingham. Manuel Perez made it really difficult for him to land clean, but Dillingham has stuck to the task, hasn't shown any signs of frustration. It's been a disciplined, technically quality performance from him, as he again just continues to push forward, try and impose himself and find a way through.
Oh, nice backhand by Dillingham.
Checks the chin twice of Manuel Perez, does Dillingham. Just backs him up into the corner. And a really good performance from the youngster from Derbyshire. Still only 22 years old, remember. This is 8th contest, and he's developing really nicely, Max.
Yeah, brilliant by Jed. It was a real controlled professional performance. I mean, I will digress this. Scott Cayley did say he had a cold during the week, but he wanted a fight, and you know, I think he's been in training once this week, and I know it's a tone down this week, but it just shows it hasn't really affected him. It just shows how good he is.
Well, the travelling support that he's brought with him from Derbyshire will be delighted in a couple of moments' time, and we're fairly certain their man Jack Dillingham will be announced as victorious as both men make their way to centre ring, and we'll get our official announcement from Robert Blundell.
Ladies and gentlemen, could we please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers? After 6 rounds of action, we go to Reece Carter's scorecard, which reads 60 points to 54 in favour of your winner, Jack Dillingham! Ladies and gentlemen, please, a big round of applause for Jose Manuel Perez.
A delighted crowd here in support of Jack Dillingham, the youngster from Derbyshire, as he clocks another win on his professional resume to take him to 7-1. Jose Manuel Perez, who you've just faced, had that typical wily, tricky style that the Nicaraguan boxers tend to have. How difficult was it to connect cleanly with him?
Early on, I thought it was just a matter of getting my jab flowing, which was really hard, to be honest, because he didn't really come into range at all, and he were only looking to punch over like my shots, and he were going down so low, I didn't want to drop down to his level, So for the start of it, like, I would pick dominating the round, but I would having to like maybe take a step, don't go in as fast. Just take your time and work it out, get the opportunities later on. You don't have to rush, you know what I mean? But some of them, like, he had power, I'll tell you that now, he punched hard. It was just a matter of just taking the power out of the shots and rolling and blocking and stuff like that.
Well, he's had 10 stoppages of his 15 wins, so as you say, you can see why. But technically, you're so sound, you're really impressive to watch. The way that you change your angles and your shot selection as well. What are you looking for now in terms of your development? You've come in the back off that draw that you had in June for the title. So what's your perspective now on what you want for the next phase of your career?
Well, I think me and Scott would like to get out again before the end of December, but I'm not entirely sure whether it'll happen. I'd like it to, but obviously people have Christmas coming up and selling tickets is hard enough. So as for my development, if we're not going to have a fight, I want to make sure I get in some real top-notch sparring, which I have been getting over the months. Like, Scott always does his best to find me sparring, but when you work all the time, it's hard to get it, because most of these high-quality pros, they spar in the week, and some of us have still got to go to work.
Yeah, and I think people forget how difficult it is to be juggling that for those of you that do. You're only 22 years old. There's still plenty of time to build. What is, though, the ultimate ambition for you down the line?
For me, my ultimate ambition is always just to become the best boxer I can, the best person I can. Like, at the end of the day, I don't want to set any goals, because I know how crooked boxing can be anyway. I don't want to set my heart out on achieving certain things, which I do believe I can achieve, but I want to keep it slow and steady, one step at a time, grow better as a person. I don't want to like be someone that, I still want to be like a people's person, like, and just carry on the way I have always in my life. So yeah.
Listen, you're always really enjoyable to watch. You've got a great support behind you that you've brought with you from Derbyshire, so well done, and we're looking forward to seeing you out again.
Oh, thank you, cheers, appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to welcome our next boxers to the ring. Please welcome first, and making their way to the blue corner, from Cornwall, Dylan Courtney.
Dylan Courtney then, the 30-year-old from Penzance in Cornwall, perhaps better known for Pirates or surfing. But Dylan has chosen boxing, and here he is. He's had 5 contests this year. He's been in against some decent opposition as well. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. Tonight he faces the home favourite from Sheffield, Mikey Harrison.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, making his way to the red corner, from Sheffield, Mikey G, Mikey Harrison!
Fighting in his home city of Sheffield, another product of that successful Titans gym, who've been showcasing the best of their stable this evening. And the young prospect, 21-year-old Mikey G. Harrison, made his debut last July right here at Skate Central with a points victory over Victor Adega. He's had 2 points wins since. Those came last October and this March, also here at Skate Central. 23 bouts as an amateur, including the Yorkshire belt. Just 21 years old, so plenty of time to develop. He looks to go 4-0 this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Fight Zone from Skate Central in Sheffield, where Fight Academy proudly presents 4 rounds of boxing in the light heavyweight division. Our timekeeper at the bell for this contest is Peter Humphrey, and our referee in charge scoring the contest, star referee Reese Carter. Introducing our first boxer, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the black shorts with red. On the scales, he weighed in 13 stone, 3 pounds and 2 ounces. This evening taking part in his 28th contest as a professional. From Cornwall, Dylan Courtney. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent facing him across the ring and boxing out of the red corner. Wearing the black shorts with white and gold. On the scales, he weighed 12 stone, 13 pounds and 6 ounces. He comes to the ring with a perfect professional record. 3 wins from 3 contests from right here in Sheffield. Mikey G. Mikey Harrison.
So towers above his opponent, which is often the case for Mikey Harrison. Says that one of the fighters he's always looked up to is Clinton Woods, former IBF champion.
Can we please
of course hails from Sheffield as well.
Ringside, please, can both doctors please make sure they're at ringside?
We're just waiting to get underway here, and they're just making sure that the doctor is ringside. Just making sure that all the medical personnel are present as required. And the referee has just confirmed that indeed there has to be 2 doctors present at ringside. We just have one because the other presumably is taking care of Manuel Perez's nick, I think, to his eye. I think that he's having that tended to by the other doctor. So we are just waiting to have the required medical personnel at ringside, and that's difficult for these boxers, of course, when you've had all that rush of adrenaline and your ring walk and you've got in the ring and then you have to wait. Mikey Harrison has had 23 amateur bouts. He took the Yorkshire belt as an amateur as well. Got into boxing as a 13-year-old to keep fit. How many times do we hear that either problems at school or looking to increase the fitness got them into the gym, and then for some they just catch the bug and they fall in love with it, and that's the end of it. They never look back. There's aims to win domestic titles at least, and as I was just saying before, one of the fighters he most looks up to is Clinton Woods, because he's from the same city. Incredible heritage here in Sheffield of producing amazing talent, and of course GB boxing based here at the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield. The England and GB team, so produced many incredible amateurs and professionals as well out of the various gyms here across the city. Clinton Woods, the former IBF champion, and he is here this evening, so I'm sure that'll mean a lot to Mikey Harrison, one of the fighters who's inspired him, who he's looked up to, and now he gets to perform in front of him, and they want to put a show on for him and for this incredible support here at Skate Central. He says that the support does mean a lot to him, and the folks at the gym as well. And there's Tricky Trevor shouting, Mikey, Mikey. He's had his fight, got his win, still got his hand wraps on, and here he is ringside cheering on his stablemate. And we've been talking throughout the night about that Titans gym stable and how buzzing it must be in that gym at the moment, because they're all fighting regularly, and it does make for a great atmosphere, spurring one another on. Dylan Courtney, of course, in the opposite corner, the 30-year-old from Penzance in Cornwall. As I say, Penzance, perhaps more associated with pirates and surfing, but Dylan Courtney here in Sheffield, ready to fight. And finally, we have both doctors ringside, and so we can get underway. Mikey Harrison from Sheffield in the black, white and gold shorts, and Dylan Courtney of Cornwall in the black with the red flames and gold. And he's just got his left hand tied up, so he's just trying to work away with that backhand. It's a little bit messy in these opening 30 seconds, as Harrison often towers over his opponents. He really is tall at the weight, and he's a big unit, just 21 years old, so goodness me, still got room to grow and may well develop and go up in weight throughout his career, but so far developing nicely. This just his fourth outing as a professional. Some decent amateur experience behind him. He's a real favourite here at Skate Central in Sheffield. Courtney just trying to close that gap, make sure that Harrison doesn't have the space to work. Once he gets those long levers going and boxes at range, it can be difficult to get past that long jab of his, but Courtney just trying to do that and not allow him to get any rhythm.
Dylan Courtney, tricky customer, he doesn't often get stopped.
He's been stopped twice of his 23 losses. That's Dylan Courtney. And he's been in with some top talent. He's fought former GB boxer George Crotty on Crotty's debut last December, and saw the final bell in that one. And he's a real hot prospect, is George Crotty, and had great success on GB. 7 years he was on the GB squad, so been in there with some decent opposition. Got stopped in March by Tom Rafferty, but he got a couple of draws back in 2023. Last win though came in 2021, so we won't have any expectations of upsetting things for the man from Sheffield this evening, but he will want to make it difficult.
Courtney's making it quite difficult, tying him up, roughing him up. He comes to have a go, to be fair. So, nice 1-2 down by Mikey there. Nice backhand again.
And they had a long wait to get going, those two, so it's perhaps no surprise that this didn't absolutely soar from the first bell, because they had that spike in adrenaline from the ring walk and they were all ready to go, and then had that slight delay as we waited for the second doctor to get back to ringside. So a little bit of a feeling out round, perhaps. It was a little bit scrappy at times. We do expect that once Harrison gets that jab going and finds his rhythm, he'll start to try and break Courtney down, and it's a difficult thing to do because, as you rightly said, Max, he doesn't tend to get stopped that often.
Yes, and I think, you know, he's what I call the journeyman of the circuit. Courtney is, look, it just says it all. Twice in 23 fights he's been stopped. It just says it all. He comes and has a go. So Mikey has to figure out, Courtney, what to do with him. And this is about the development, like you say, Stacey.
And he's that chunky sort of build, isn't he, Dylan Courtney? Harrison, of course, long, lean. He's got that long torso, hasn't he? But Courtney, really solid, robust type of physique. And they can be difficult to push back. They can be difficult to stop.
Yeah. He's
proving to be so far, and he's good at taking that space and getting up close to Harrison and preventing him from being able to work. He needs to keep it at range, Harrison.
Makes it messy, Courtney. He makes it messy any way necessary. So it's up to Mikey to establish his authority on this.
Yeah, definitely needs to keep it at range. Establish that distance and then work from there, Mikey Harrison. Just allowing Courtney to work close up there. And once he throws at range, Max, you just feel that Harrison needs to then move his feet and not stay there and allow Courtney to then step in and reply. He's having success with that jab, but then if he waits and allows Courtney in, he didn't that time though. He followed up with another couple of shots and made the way right through the middle of Courtney's guard. Can he really establish that jab now, Harrison? Keep things at range. Not allow Courtney up close. Needs to move his feet though, just to maintain that distance when he's throwing his shots. It makes it more difficult for Courtney to close that space. At the minute, all he's got to do is just step in. Harrison can take that away from him. That was better. And that's all it takes, Max, is just a tiny step back, and then he can go again and walk Courtney onto something. But he has to take that little step back to then come back in again.
That's the thing. That's why you're talking about levers. That's his long levers. He has to do that.
And this is better movement from him. Courtney just falling in. Grandad in gold across the waistband of the shorts of Courtney. Often fighters paying tribute to loved ones on their kit, and it can be really important to you to have that on your kit, representing the people in your life. Just feinting that front shoulder and that front foot, Harrison. Just trying to work on the inside, Harrison, as Courtney ties up the right hand of the man from Sheffield. Scheduled for 4-3s. We're at the halfway stage, and a decent solid 2 rounds from Harrison, and Courtney has made it difficult for him, but Harrison learning as he goes along, as you'd expect in just his 4th outing, Max. He's figuring it out round by round.
I think as well, like John Fuchs is saying to him in his corner, he wants him to move a little bit, move his head, a little bit more activity.
You can see here, he just did it there on the replay, Max. Yeah. He landed a couple of shots, he took a tiny step back, and then he was able to go again, and he walked Courtney onto the shots, and he can be so effective by keeping that range and distance. Tiny step out, Courtney isn't able then to close that distance, and if he fires back, he'll walk him onto something. Absolutely. And that's what surely they'll be asking him to do in this 3rd round.
Absolutely, and it's about, you're saying, Stacey, about the levers and utilising those levers, and if he has to do that by taking a step back, that's where he's getting success.
It's all about development, of course. He did have 28 as an amateur, but just his 4th as a pro, and it's a real learning curve, and just 21 years old. Every single round will be a learning experience for Mikey Harrison. And sometimes when you watch these fights back, Max, which is why footage can be so helpful because you can come out of the ring and feel like I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I'm miles off where I want to be, and you watch it and you realise there's tiny changes that you needed to make, and you can see it when you watch it back. If I just did this, if I just did that, and you know, with that comes experience that you can actually see that and anticipate that whilst you're in there. But at this stage, figuring it out as you go along can be difficult, can't it?
Yes, definitely. But there's Courtney. He is asking questions of Mikey. He's not standing there and just, you know, being a rollover like you see with some journeymen. He's giving it.
And he's a 30-year-old man, Max. He's a solid physique, as we've said before. He's robust. He's got that stout, stocky build.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of miles on the clock. 27 fights, and as I say, 30 years old. So he's got that fully developed man strength.
Yeah.
He's done the rounds. He's he's a solid opponent for Mikey Harrison, who's just 21 years old, still developing his man strength, still building up the rounds and learning as he goes, and so far developing really nicely is Mikey Harrison.
I think as well, the start of the spout, it didn't help them being,
and that is part of that experience, isn't it? How you cope with that mentally and keep yourself fired up without getting too fired up. Don't let yourself get your heart rate get down too much, and
controlling emotions. Nice inside work by Courtney there. Harrison's not getting all his own way here.
Just pushing him back a little bit, Courtney. Nothing really in those shots, but they're enough to force Harrison back to the ropes. A decent work rate from Courtney in this round, Max.
I was just saying, yeah.
As I say, there's not a great deal of technique. There's nothing really sharp about his work. No heavy power either, but sheer work rate is just willed himself forward. But Harrison has caught him 3 times there in quick succession, and they've connected well, those shots. Rocking the head back of Courtney.
That was good backhand to finish that round there by Harrison. Just looking at John Fuchs in the corner, you know, he just wants a little bit more active by Harrison, but I just feel he's getting too involved, Harrison, and he's not putting his
levers. Let's see here from Courtney. You can see that, as I say, there's not a great deal of technical quality, and that's not to discredit him. He just simply wants to impose himself on Harrison and push forward, and he did that. He was successful in that.
Yes.
He's not necessarily looking to be perfectly flawless technically. He was just pushing him back, and he did have a decent bit of success in the 3rd round in that regard, did Courtney. It was a good work rate for him, put a good shift in, and he pushed Harrison back. So let's see what the 4th round has in store. 4th and final round.
Be interesting. I'd like to see Mikey really step it on.
Sharp jab to the body, and again from Harrison. Single shots for now. That was good from Harrison. Little jab, steps across and let the backhand uppercut go. Not seen too much variety in his work, so good to see him just mixing up the shots in this final round. Low lead hand, just looking to flick out that jab, walks him onto it. Just a little chopping backhand.
Yeah, I think Dylan Courtney just likes it up close, trying to spoil Harrison's work, I think. It's just all about what you're saying, Stacey, earlier on, taking that step back.
And it's fairly simple stuff here, Max, as well, isn't it? But it's harder to see when you're in there, and I think when Mikey Harrison watches it back, he'll see that he's got everything he needed in his locker to make an easy night of this. But again, really important learning fight for him, because he's got, as I say, a tough cookie in front of him who's willing to push forward and make it difficult for him. And that's exactly what he needs at this stage. Lets the jab go again there, Harrison. And to the body, that's better from him. And then that little step back. And that's better. He's not allowing Courtney to come in now. And then ends up in a tangle. Just ending up a little scrappy at times, this, as Courtney just leaning on Harrison. It does drain your energy when somebody's just leaning on you. And you can see he's leaning forward, Courtney, and it's smart work from him, because it means that Harrison has to push him off. Can he find the last couple of clean shots, Harrison, to see this one out? He's undoubtedly made this a more difficult night's work for him than it needed to be. Yeah. But again, Max, we reiterate, that is exactly what these fights are about, isn't it? Is learning, and the next time he faces an opponent like this, he'll be far better equipped.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dylan Courtney, he's no mug. He's been stopped twice. He's only been stopped twice since the 23 losses, so he clearly can fight. So, you know, I mean, we'll see with the official result, but I'd like to see Harrison a little bit more. But it's learning fights. This is how they learn and develop, Stacey.
It certainly is, and John Fuchson will be well aware of that. And he'll be happy to get the win, but plenty to work on. But the main thing is to get that win, and really good, solid opponent for him at this stage, just his fourth outing, and he will have taken so much from that. And ultimately, going to be another win for Mikey Harrison, which will be much to the delight of his home crowd. Let's get the official announcement from your MC this evening, Robert Blundell.
Ladies and gentlemen, could we please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers. After 4 rounds of action, we go to our referee Reece Carter's scorecard, which reads 40 points to 36 in favour of your winner, still undefeated, Mikey G. Mikey Harrison. Ladies and gentlemen, please a big round of applause for Dylan Courtney.
So good win for Mikey G. Harrison. That takes him to 4-0 as a pro. And we'll find out from him what's next. Mikey, you're in there with a really robust opponent there, 30 years old. He's he's well schooled, well seasoned. So he's a tough man. How did you find it in there?
Like you say, he's an experienced kid, Dylan. He comes one day, he'll move about, another day he'll have a bit of a go. Me personally, I feel like I let him have that go tonight by not keeping my range, not doing what I've been drilled into me. So I let him have a bit of a go, but obviously I've come out on the right side once again, so I'm happy.
Yeah, you certainly have, and obviously your advantage there was your range. How difficult was it to keep that distance?
Like I say, it were difficult. Like Dylan, when he switches it on, it can be that awkward on the road fighter who will come and make it an hard night's work for you, like he did then. But obviously, I had to dig deep. I had to work hard. I had to really outwork him for 4 rounds because I let him come to my chest. So yeah, I did struggle to keep my range a little bit, and I also think that, you know, when I start doing these 6 rounders and 8 rounders, I think that I will keep that distance a lot more comfortably when I get into that flow. Sometimes I'm a bit of a slow starter, but I'll put that right, and it's about time I started keeping it long from the first round to 4 rounds, rather than relying on 6 or 8 rounds like I do when I spar to find that rhythm and to find that timing. So I need to find it for 4 rounds first.
I know Clinton Woods is one of the boxers who's inspired you. He's here this evening. What has it meant to you to box in front of somebody who you've looked up to?
Oh, it's brilliant. Like, everybody knows how good Clinton were and everything what he did for this city and for boxing and for the country, obviously. But it means a great deal that he comes out and comes to watch me. Yeah.
You're just 21 years old. I know you've got aspirations to win at least a domestic title. 4 fights in now. You're rapidly developing and learning. What's next for you?
I mean, I'm guessing that question is down to these 3 gentlemen at the side of me here. So whatever they say, I'm going to be behind 100%. Whether it's all right, let's have a go at 6 rounds now, or whether it's we're not quite at 6 rounds yet. Let's get you flowing for 4.
8th of November is going to be out again.
There you go. Why don't you just say that at the beginning? You could have saved him going round the houses. 8th of November, there we go. A final question then. What's it like in your gym at the moment? We've seen, obviously, all of you boxing here today out of the same stable. Your gym must be absolutely buzzing. I don't know if you have to have matching beards with your coach or not, but you've managed it. How buzzing are all of you to be enjoying these nights and building up to these fight nights together?
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. You know, the togetherness in the gym, what these 3 gentlemen have created, it's unreal. You know, some boxing gyms in Sheffield and around the country, they don't have what we have.
Tricky Trevor was screaming your name at the top of his lungs behind him.
I know, but that just proves it. That just proves the togetherness, what we're building, the team, and how we push each other on. Not even just us 3 professionals, but all the amateurs, all the togetherness, the family of the gym. It's absolutely brilliant. It's definitely on the up.
It is, and there's no sport like it in the world. So long may it carry on, and good luck in your next fight, and well done this evening. Go and enjoy it with all your supporters.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to welcome our final contest of the evening into the ring. Please welcome first, making their way to the blue corner, from Peru, Oscar Robledo.
Oscar Robledo, 34-year-old from Peru. He's had 3 fights this year, 2 losses. 1 on points, 1 by stoppage, and he got a win in May. Let's see what he can bring tonight here in Sheffield.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, making his way to the red corner, from Doncaster, Hughie Wilson.
So here comes his opponent, Hughie Wilson, the 25-year-old from Doncaster, Hughie. He goes by. This one scheduled for 6-3s. He lost here in July to Billy Pickles in that 10-rounder. Lost on a split points decision. He's managed by former British and European champion Ryan Rhodes. Couldn't really get better advice in your corner from someone who's been there and done it. And that's great to see. As we're ready to get underway.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our final contest of the evening. We're live from Skate Central in Sheffield on Fight Zone. Fight Academy proudly presents 6 rounds of action in the super lightweight division. Our timekeeper at the bell for this contest is Anthony Ruston. Our referee in the ring, Mark Downing, and scoring the contest from ringside is Reese Carter. Introducing our first boxer, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the white shorts with gold trim. On the scales, he weighed in 10 stone, 3 pounds and 9 ounces. This evening taking part in his 11th contest as a professional, from Peru, Oscar Robledo! And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent facing him across the ring and boxing out of the red corner, wearing the red shorts with white. On the scales, he weighed in 10 stone, 13 pounds and 12 ounces. He comes to the ring with a record of 9 wins and 2 losses. He has 2 big wins by way of knockout. From Doncaster, Hughie Wilson.
You both know the rules. A good clean fight.
So Hughie Wilson in the red, black and white shorts, and Oscar Robledo, the Peruvian, in the white and gold shorts. 34 years old is Robledo. Of his 3 fights this year, he's had 2 losses. 1 on points and 1 was a stoppage, and he got that win in May, where he stopped Diego Caballos in Antofagasta in Chile. So from Chile to Sheffield. How many sports can say that, Max? All over the world.
Yeah.
Backed up to the ropes already, Robledo. Those angel wings tattooed on his back, pressed up against the ropes as Wilson stabbing out that jab. And we mentioned before, he lost here in July to Billy Pickles in that 10-rounder. Really popular around these parts is Billy Pickles. And he's got rounds in with 2-time English champion Rhys Mould last month, so that certainly will have stood him in good stead. And quality sparring is a huge plus point, Max, isn't it, at any stage of your career?
Yeah, I mean, Hughie, I think he's going to have, like, you know, obviously have this as confidence and get out after Billy Pickles, and he didn't do nothing bad against Billy. He just gets a seasoned fighter.
It was a close one, wasn't it? I mean, it was a split decision, and he landed some quality shots of his own. Certainly had a few decent ones for the highlight reel, Max, on that evening, didn't he? But he's pushing Robledo back here when he gets the opportunity to do so. Went to the Ingalls gym, aged 8, did Hughie Wilson, with his dad, and vividly remembers that first visit. For some, it takes a while to decide if this is the sport for them. For others, they're smitten straight away. And that was the case for Hughie Wilson. And here he is in Sheffield, his 12th professional contest. Little flurry there. And Robledo just tucking up. Trained by Steve Netz at the Box Southpaw gym in Sheffield. And again, managed by former British and European champion Ryan Rhodes. And that sort of mentorship also standing in really good stead, Max.
Yeah, having someone like Ryan Rhodes in your corner, and being managed and, you know, trained by. Fantastic. And we're just seeing a bit of that nice little hook by Hughie Wilson.
He got some real leverage on that, didn't he? Worked it to the body and then upstairs as well. Robledo, though, not flustered at all, really composed. Doesn't have great feet, the man from Peru. He's 34 years old, though, remember. 25 Wilson, so 9 years his junior.
But I like that nice little pivot off by Hughie Wilson then. Just you know, giving that space back in the ring.
A decent opening round for Hughie Wilson. Robledo not really flustered at any point. Not got a great deal of experience, Robledo, but not as a professional anyway, as you can see him just taking instructions in the corner there. Nice and relaxed. This one's scheduled for 6-3s.
I feel Hughie Wilson just feeling himself. I mean, it's always tough after a loss like he did in fashion, in a split decision. It is always tough. I mean, personally, I disagree with the split decision because I thought Billy Vickers won it, but he did very well in that fight. And having the first time out after a loss like that, it's critical to just get back into it like he is. And he's feeling his way into it, so he's doing the right thing. Nice jab there.
Just a little nod of acknowledgement from Robledo as well. This is just offering a little recognition to his younger opponent, who'll be hungry and driven to succeed. And Robledo there to teach him a few lessons and show him the ropes, so to speak.
Nice body shot by Hughie Wilson there.
Help him build up the rounds. Wilson just pinning Robledo back. Good work from Wilson. That backhand and then followed up with the lead hand as well. Took them well though, Robledo.
Nice 1-2. Nice double jab by Wilson as well. That's underrated as well, isn't it, Stacey? A double jab and then follow it with a backhand. Not a lot of boxers do it. It's rare to see, even in some of the youngster like Wilson. Really nice.
Does look unsteady on his feet at times, Robledo, doesn't he? Tends to cross his feet when he's moving laterally as well. He's just trying to elicit some sort of response from Robledo. He's feinting with that front foot to try and draw something. That's what creates the openings, but Robledo not offering anything.
I just feel Hughie, like he's doing now, I feel he can just cut off the ring and that a little bit better and just keep him there.
And again, it's as we've talked about a couple of occasions this evening, Max, is just trying to change the tempo here and there, increase the pressure and then control the pace, and then increase the pressure and change the angles, vary your shots. It gives you the chance to showcase all of your skill set, doesn't it? But also helps you break down your opponent and find a way through.
Yeah. I think Wilson's just steadily going up, inclining, and I just want like these lovely shot.
He's not really been uncomfortable at all, Robledo, has he? But no. That's not to say it hasn't been decent work from Wilson, because it has.
Exactly. And like we just said, there's a snippets where Wilson does some really good work. And to be honest, I just want to see more of that and just steadily put on the pressure and a bit more intensity, because he's got it there and he's got it in his locker. He's well aware of it. Saw it in the Biddy Pick'em fight a few times. So he's there again. Another fight we're seeing where the stoppage could be potentially there if he wants to do it. It's just taking that little risk. As we see on the replay, nice body shot and going back up with the hook. And you know, Wilson's good at that. He does his wild stuff on the inside, and especially when he's sat on the ropes. So let's see Wilson do more of that and more volume of that, and that's what I want to see from him.
Scheduled for 6-3s here, Hughie Wilson and Oscar Robledo. Round 3. Max said he had a sense that Wilson is just starting to up the tempo bit by bit. A little bit like on an oven, just gradually increasing the temperature.
Yeah, nice work by Hughie
with the aim being to make it too hot eventually for your opponent.
Nice,
a nice change of the angle there from Wilson.
Wilson's starting to look busier now.
Predominantly straight shots so far from Wilson. Not a great deal of head movement from Robledo, Max, and we've seen a couple of contests this evening, lots and lots of head movement and real elusive defensive work from some of the away fighters. Not so much seeing that from Robledo, are we? He tends to rely on his gloves to take and absorb the shots coming from Wilson.
Yeah, I think he's happy to sit on the back foot, but if Wilson just forces it and see if he can open up, he's not giving too much away, keeping that guard nice and tight.
There's a little nick to the left eye of Hughie Wilson, just beneath his eye, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem provided it doesn't open up anymore, because there's no blood going to be running into his eye since it's below the eye, but still he won't want that to open up anymore, otherwise it could be problematic. Is blood coming from it now though, just beneath the left eye of Wilson, and that seems to have given Robledo a little bit of incentive to start throwing some leather at the man from Doncaster. Oh, it's a lovely shot from Wilson there, and he fell short, Robledo. And he timed it really well, Wilson, and walked him right onto that one. That was quality timing from Hughie. Yeah, it's a tiny nick, that, isn't it? But you certainly don't want them to become any bigger, that's for sure, and open up any further.
He's protecting that with his elbow up then.
Oh, a great left hook from Hughie Wilson. Drops Robledo to the canvas. Goodness me, what a shot that was, and he felt the full force, still unsteady on his legs, the man from Peru. And he will be very relieved that that was just on the bell, because that was some shot. Came right at the end of the round, so I'm not sure if we'll have a replay of that one or not, but goodness me, Max, that was a huge shot, wasn't it?
I can see it now. I think it was just after the...
You can see this has been coming, and here it is. Just comes right over the top with that left hook.
Lovely hook.
What a shot that was. And his legs gave way beneath Robledo. A little smile from Robledo to say, yeah, I know, it was my mistake. But he'll be certainly wary now. He knows that Wilson has power. He's been tucking up well, has Robledo, but left himself open there and paid the price. Wilson, though, maintaining his composure, not getting carried away. He's trying to set his shots up. Stepping in. Nice stiff jab.
I think Wilson's just been, you know, conservative with his, like, you know, his jabs, not wasteful, and just picking it and seeing the right opportunity, not rushing, and I like this.
He does tend to move to his right, Robledo, as well, doesn't he? Onto Wilson's backhand, and that in the end wasn't the weapon of choice, was it? No. It was that lead hook, and it was really well placed. And as I've been saying, he's a little unsteady on his feet, Robledo, and he does tend to cross his feet, and that's where he's vulnerable sometimes in those exchanges, because that foundation and that base doesn't have his feet beneath him. That's where, when you get caught, you hit the canvas. That's a real frantic exchange between the two of them there. Robledo, just a big deep breath, ready to go again. There's a long way to go still in this one. Minute 10 of the fourth, and then we've got the fifth and sixth, should it go the distance. So plenty of time for Wilson just to try and exploit one of those openings again. And that's good work from him, just slipping that jab from Robledo.
Robledo's just trying to make it a little bit scrappy now.
Well, sometimes those little tricks, Max, involve just rubbing your head up against a foot of an opponent.
That's what he's trying to do on his left eye.
You can see the bruising coming out. He's going to have a real shiner tomorrow, is Wilson, but he'll care a lot less about that if that happens to have occurred en route to a win. I feel a lot worse when you're marked up and you lose.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Final 10 in this fourth round. It's a good little spell for Wilson again there. Some real heavy leather being landed. He takes a big deep breath before taking to his stool. And looking really relaxed, Robledo now, and looks like he's gathered himself again, Max.
I think Wilson has just been a little bit, you know, economical with his punches. But when he does these attacks, these volumes of, you know, clusters, I really like to see, and I want to see more of them now. And, you know, they're
proving difficult for Robledo to defend, aren't they? Because there's some real firepower coming at him, and Robledo doesn't tend to move his head much. So once he puts those shots together, even if he throws 5, 3 of them are landing because his head really doesn't move that much.
Yeah,
taking a lot of punishment.
Yeah, and you're seeing now, you know, after that knockdown, he's respecting that power, and he's a little bit more on his bike a little bit. So let's see if we see more crosses by Wilson now.
Penultimate round, our final contest of the evening here. Westgate Central in Sheffield. Another great night of boxing on Fight Zone TV. Another brilliant opportunity for these fighters to showcase what they can do, develop and learn in this phase of their careers. Thoroughly enjoyed by the crowd in here as well.
We're just seeing there this double jab by Huie, and a nice right hand there. You know, but I just want to see this double jab a little bit more. I think he's underrated.
It's good front foot pressure, this, from Wilson, because although he's not always throwing, he's always right in front of Robledo, applying pressure with his feet, and Robledo having to stay switched on the entire time. And when he gets the chance, Wilson doesn't need an invitation, does he? Lets his hands go. that sharp stinging power, hasn't he? Whips those shots in.
Like the variation there by Wilson. It's just spoiling the work of Wilson now, Robledo. He's trying to get through this round. He's just not trying to get these shots off and just tying him up.
He's feinting with that front foot, Wilson, just trying to draw something from Robledo. Backhand makes its way through the guard. Snapping the head back of Robledo, and there's some of that head movement. We haven't seen much of that from him, Max.
No, but when he does it, he does stay out of harm's way, and he's got dynamite in his gloves, Wilson. He has stopped people, and you know he's not he's not shy of trying to do a stoppage.
Yeah, he's had 2 stoppages from his 9 wins. Sure, he'd be delighted to add a 3rd, but if the stoppage doesn't come, he can be well pleased with his night's work here. Cam Wilson, should it continue in this vein, and a solid performance and a knockdown to add the cherry on top for the 25-year-old.
Referee just telling off Robledo there. He wants nothing.
Just shuffles to get behind the referee.
He's just spoiling a bit.
We don't mind a bit of that, do we? It's entertainment at the end of the day.
Yeah. Robledo just complaining, back of the head.
Well, he's certainly done well to gather himself, as Robledo, because it was a big knockdown that. And you could see his legs really went from beneath him.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the round. In the last couple of rounds, he's rallied, hasn't he? And he's come through it well. And here he is, about to enter the final round. And you might not have thought that after that knockdown. So that's huge credit to him.
I think with Huie, he's just not rushing his work. He's just being just. Some fighters, they won't go for it, and some do and some don't, right? And with Huie, and I think this is his first fight back, he's not rushing his work, and as we can see, there's a cut. There's a bit of a work doing by the cut men in the
yeah,
corner
it's not
there.
too bad, that cut at all. It's just a tiny nick. Might come up as a bit of a shiner tomorrow, but they've made sure that it doesn't get any worse. And Hughie Wilson, to be fair to him as well, has made sure that he doesn't take any more damage to that little nick, and it didn't become a problem. Final round then. Touch of gloves, and we're underway.
Nice body shot by Wilson there. He's putting some like spin in this now.
Taking a fair amount of punishment, has Robledo. And there again, just trying to rely on his reflexes, and goodness me, Wilson now rallying the crowd, trying to get them behind him. It's a good sequence of shots, and accurate as well, landing to body and head from Wilson as he pressed Robledo into the corner, as again he's asking for them to get behind him, and they've responded, the crowd, they're chanting his name. And Robledo willing to take a risk, because at times, as I say, not tucking up and trying to rely on his reflexes, but got caught with a couple from Wilson so far in this opening minute. Oh, big overhand there, and
just clipped him, did not flush.
It could have been a real lights out job, that, couldn't it? But a bit more of a clipping shot, as you say, Max, instead.
Yeah, I think.
But it's a warning sign for Robledo, as if he needed another. Certainly had one already being dropped previously from that left hook of Wilson. But another little warning fired there.
With a heavy drop as well, that was.
Certainly one for the highlight reel. Just over a minute remaining in this sixth and final round then. Nice jab from Wilson. Goes to work again, slams the backhand into the body of Robledo. Robledo now on his bike, just trying to see the round out, and Wilson just on him like a rash there, not giving him a second to breathe. looking a little weathered now, the 34-year-old from Peru. And he's got a hungry, game 25-year-old from Doncaster in front of him. He shows no sign of taking his foot off the gas as he again pushes him back into that neutral corner. Wilson just stepping forward again, encouraging the crowd to get behind him. And he gives them something to cheer about. A final flurry there in the 6th and final round from Hughie Wilson to cap off a really good performance and a knockdown to boot as well, Max.
Yeah, brilliant. It's a good, decent performance by Wilson. It's just what you need after coming off a loss like he has, and this will give him massive confidence. Bit more work probably, but the thing is, it was just all round professional. You know, he upped it round by round, punches in bunches, and Wilson, I mean, he's got dynamite in those gloves. We should have seen that just now.
So a tough night's work for the man from Peru, Oscar Robledo. But Hughie Wilson, the 25-year-old from just down the road in Doncaster. A really good performance from the man they call Hobson. Let's get our official announcement for MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, could we please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers. After 6 rounds of action, we go to Reece Carter's scorecard, which reads 60 points to 53 in favour of your winner, from Doncaster, Hughie Wilson.
Really good win then for Hughie Wilson.
Round of applause for Oscar Robledo.
And all credit to Oscar Robledo. Managed to survive a real tough storm when he was dropped. Got back to his feet, survived the storm, and gave a good account of himself. But Hughie Wilson, we would imagine, would be delighted with his performance, coming back from that loss against Billy Pickles. And we'll talk to him in just a moment. So Hughie, coming back off a loss can be really difficult mentally sometimes for fighters. How have you found that building up to this fight in this camp?
I haven't found it difficult at all, to be honest. I thought I won the fight, my last one. Everyone I spoke to thought I won. I'll be honest with you, I haven't found it difficult. The way I look at it, I never lost. I didn't come out sad or upset, and if I did, I'd have known I lost and I could have done more. But I thought I won the fight, and I think I want the rematch. I think I deserve the rematch.
Well, I'm sure you've gone a long way to doing that tonight, of course. Talk us through tonight. I mean, he was a robust, tough character, wasn't he? But goodness me, when you dropped him, talk me through that left hook.
I'll be honest, I don't know where it came from. It was instantly. I thought I hit him with it, and he went down. And I always thought I'll drop him again, but it'll be in a clinch. And every time, obviously, he adapted, didn't he? He was on the back foot. He wasn't willing to engage. If he was throwing, I could have countered him, and I think it'd have been good night. I hurt him 4 times, I think, in the fight, but took South American. A good 6 rounds, knockdown, good performance.
So in terms of, for you now, I mean, a really good start to your career so far, lots of learning fights, great for your development, went into the Ingles gym as an 8-year-old and here you are. What is the plan for you now?
Titles, I just want titles, whatever title comes. I want the rematch with Billy, so that's the Commonwealth Silver. Obviously I want the best titles that there's to offer. But I'll go and fight for some made-up Mickey Mouse belt if I have to. Anything that brings me glory.
And then finally, what's it meant to you to have that support? I saw you rallying the crowd and getting them behind you, and they responded. Not too far away from Doncaster, but what's it mean to have that support?
Oh, it's fantastic. Sheffield is basically my home now. 90% of me fans and family is from Sheffield, so I think I'm adopted Sheffield lad, to be fair.
You certainly are. Well, listen, congratulations. It was a great win. We hope you get the rematch. We're really looking forward to seeing you in action again. Well done.
Thank you very much. And Billy Pickles, if you're watching, I think you are, I'm coming for you.
Well done. Congratulations. And that concludes all the action here from Skate Central in Sheffield this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We really look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for being with us here this evening. And we hope you've enjoyed all of the action.